It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It is time for BRAP. Look, if you are looking for a podcast that just talks about general gaming news and opinions and things of that nature, and one that doesn't, do pro bono work for corporations, you've come to the right place. We are called BRAP, Basement Radio K Podcast. Thank you, everyone. Big shout out to everyone in the live chat. If you haven't done so, please hit that like button so you're alerted when we go live. Hit that like button. And then also, if you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you're alerted when we go live. I'm going to drop a link here in the live chat. Please, everyone, do me a quick favor and retweet the link if you haven't had it to let everyone know that we're live. And look, we got a lot to talk about today. Some big news. We got a little bit of Nintendo Direct. There's some good games coming out on Nintendo Switch, or things that I was interested in. And then we got some other major news. Xbox losing a major exclusive. I know my man OBM doesn't like that title per se, but OBM, we got to pay the bills here, man. And then we got some other random things to talk about as well. But I want to introduce the panel tonight. We got returning guests. He is the man who loves Pulp Fiction, and rightfully so, because Pulp Fiction is a great movie. Pulp Fiction is a great movie. See, Quentin Tarantino is like the Ruth Chris of movies. Where, anyway, I'm not going to go there, but I think OBM knows what I'm talking about. But we got my man, One Bad Mother, who was almost an Xbox Live beta tester, but I met him on Xbox Live like 20-something years ago. OBM, welcome back to BRAP, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. Good to get a chance to catch up with you guys. Guess we got something to talk about tonight.
Yeah, a little something, Then we got my man who... Again, if you're not listening to him speak when he says things, you're missing out, because often he is dropping nuggets. And he is known as, I think it's B Knowing Shit. I think that's what Slow-Mo has nicknamed him, but we got B Money. What's up, B Money?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Another great Wednesday night, man. A lot of stuff to talk about.
Yes, sir.
So let's get to it, man. I'm glad OBM is here. Returning guest. You know what I mean? It's always great to have OBM in the building. So,
yeah, man, it's always great to catch up with you guys as well. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So and then we got the man who is a natural Souls player. I mean, the guy's never played a Souls game and just came in there and just bought. Now again, in all fairness, he is playing easy mode.
Here we go.
But that's okay. That's okay. The fact of the matter, there is people out there who can't even dominate.
So easy.
Dominate. They can't even dominate in easy mode. He went in there and body flame lurker. It was a tie, but he still got his souls.
I'm the one that's still walking around. Flame
this
lurker
is true. You are still walking around. I will give you, but I tell you what, that was an epic battle.
I got his soul in my back pocket.
Yes. Yeah, but seriously, this guy is not only a natural talent in FPS games, but he's a natural talent in Souls games. I hope that he plays Sekiro. I've even tried to bribe him. It's not working. We got Slow-Mo back. So what's up, Slow-Mo?
What's up, man? This is Slow-Mo, and Slow-Mo was wrong. This is Slow-Mo. I'm gonna change my name to Slow-Mo was wrong in a minute. And I wouldn't have been so wrong if the 50% of this panel who are insiders was supplying me with some accurate intel, then maybe I would have had a correct take about what's going on with Activision and Microsoft.
I said it multiple times.
As I said to you, Enrique, earlier, a broken clock is right twice a day. So you got it right, but it's like, it's like you like 2 for 40. It's all right though. Like you got a W.
I think you're already back. You're already back on the right. I think you're already back on the right track there, Slow-Mo. I think that's the best description.
Hey, I was given inside information by OBM the Insider, so that's what I was going with.
So you gave him the information, but not me. I see how it is.
Nobody had any insight from that. I am not surprised, but I guess we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's Slow-Mo. I mean, hey man, we all can't bat 1,000. You know what I mean? I mean,
I know, man. Every now and then I strike out. You know, it happens to the best of us.
I know you had that one guy argue with you. It's not all. It's not all.
I'm like, what are you talking
not all
about?
popular
It's
games.
all.
Just
You
not all
said
popular games.
all games. I'm like, bro, look. I gave him an analogy, and he was like, that analogy's terrible. I'm like, how is it? Look, this is my analogy, right? I said, if I tell y'all I'm taking my kids to the amusement park, won't you assume that I'm taking all my kids to the amusement park? Like, why would I just take some of my kids? like if they said it's Call of Duty and the other popular titles, all of the popular titles is included in the other. If there was going to be just some of them, they would have said Call of Duty and some of the popular titles. Like, you don't need to say that it's not everything if you're not actually like, that's how English works, right? Like, I'm just like, what is happening here? This guy, like, people just, they want to hold on to it because they want those exclusives so bad, so they can console war their life away. And I just don't get it, people.
I don't get it. And real quick, I am not going to be nice to fanboys today because I got a lot of stuff to talk about regarding those individuals because there's some wild shit I see on Twitter. And by the way, I got
Feel like gonna throw us to them ponies like that, man. He wouldn't do that to us. Feel like gonna throw us to them ponies.
Oh my goodness! All right, we got we got my man Eric Jackson. Oh my god, what's up, E?
Y'all too invested, man. First of all, stop cheerleading corporations. When did that shit start happening? There used to be fans of Xbox and PlayStation, but now people, I do not remember all these fans of Microsoft. Nobody loved Windows like that when I was in high school.
I know, man. These guys foregoing their monthly rent to go buy a Microsoft Surface just to prove their worth to Microsoft. It's like, dude, no, they don't care. They don't care about you, man. Like,
no,
yeah, that's true.
Pay your rent, bro.
Nobody care about Sony. Like, I mean, I had a Walkman. I didn't give a damn about Sony.
He said I had a Walkman. Yeah, the yellow Walkman.
Yeah, man. I went
to
those Walkmans suck, man.
Headphones, yeah.
Dude, them things are terrible, man. The headphones are terrible. The
headphones
Walkmans
will break.
suck.
You got dudes out here like, man,
the CD players were even worse.
Yeah, it's like, who had to bribe your laptop? Nobody. Who got to bribe your phone? Nobody.
Yeah.
They still make them?
Capping.
No, they don't make it anymore. Some of these guys are like, some of these guys they're trying to prove that they're so Microsoft. They're learning pivot tables in Excel. Look what I know. I know how to do pivot tables in Excel. That's how Microsoft I am. Anyhow,
it's inevitable. Everything's inevitable now. When did everything become inevitable?
I don't know. Some people don't know. Some people that are using that word don't even know what it means.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. Bobby Boucher. Oh my God.
Carry on.
You know what? OBM, you come to the right BRAP show because I'm going to roast some fanboys.
One bad insider is in the house.
I'm just here to fact check Enrique and then go back to bed.
There is no fact checking, sir. There's no. Hey, look, there's no fact checking.
I'm just here to keep this thing level, and then my job will be done.
You've come to the wrong BRAP show today because apparently you can't talk about inflation and the fact that, well, anyhow, people get upset over that. That when I tweet things like, did you know at the start of last generation we were paying the equivalent of $72 for games at the start of last generation? I mean, I don't know. Just
hey, can we keep it a buck about the whole $70 game thing? Because I mean, it seemed like
let's talk about that. Let's talk about the $70 thing.
Dudes got to stop fronting because the same cats going on about $70 games were the same ones when games were $60 saying, I'll just wait for a sale.
Will you play with my frog?
Same guys that won't spend $20 on Death's Door.
Yeah,
I'll wait for it to come to Game Pass.
Same dudes I did not say nobody was talking about Death's Door. Bitch, everybody was talking about Death's Door that paid for it and was rocking on it. Because your ass wanted to sit on the sideline because supporting Game Pass is more important than actually picking up a game that you were anticipating or people are saying is don't wait on it. Spend the money. It's well worth it. It's awesome. Now I'll just wait.
It's
I'll wait.
$20. Some of y'all spend more than that on your lunch. I mean, seriously.
Go ahead, B. You wanted to chime in, B. Go ahead, man.
Oh no, you guys got it, man.
Hey, but you know what?
You're speaking facts, man.
But B, let me ask you something. B, you understand inflation, right? Like you understand, like if I say to you, B Money, in 2013 we were paying the equivalent of $72 for games today, right? Why would you debate that? Would you say no? That's not true. We pay more now.
Nah, man. You know how much a loaf of bread costs?
Thank you, sir.
If you could find a loaf of bread stuff right now.
Yeah, it ain't the same price it was in 2013, man.
No, and people got up seriously. It all started, by the way, and I'm going to go down this rabbit hole a little bit. And OBM, man, I'm sorry, man, but I got to do this real quick, man.
Good Lord.
But I think you would agree with me, OBM, when it comes to inflation, that we're probably. Hey, and OBM, you've been playing games for like a long time, and so, huh?
No, yeah. Sorry.
You've been playing games. I think you've been playing games. You kind of, but I mean, you go back. I mean, you're like 50 years old, so you go back to like, like
I'm 46. I'm 46. Wow. And 46.
I mean, at that point, you're basically 50. But you go back to like,
I guess
you go back to like the Pong days, right? So let me just tell everyone too, and put this in perspective, right?
Years. I need every damn year.
Come on, man.
Actually, the Pong. I think Pong is the first thing I ever saw from a video game. But
yeah, me too. Mine. Pong. But yeah,
I started with the Atari 5200 personally. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I started with the Twisted.
OBM. We're 46 together in this, man. We got it.
Oh, well,
yes, sir.
E looks 40. One Bad Mother looks 50. So. Hey, Eric, let me tell you something. Eric looks the same. He hasn't aged since I've known him for like 8 years now. He just stayed the same. I got gray hairs and shit. Anyhow,
I'm from a different planet, man. I live in Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're different over there.
Yeah. Right. You don't have the elements.
Time. We go in Florida. We go back in time, all the way back to Jim Crow.
Oh, wild, man. All right, so look, like, okay, so I tweeted out something. I said I saw an advertisement for KB stores. For those who know what KB was a toy store, predominantly in the malls, right, or strip malls, but mostly in the malls. Mm-hmm. And they sold video games, right? Yep. And there was an advertisement I posted out there. It said, "Wow, in 1990 or 1992, John Madden football, which $50, is equivalent to like $116 today." And I said, we pay more money for games back then than we do today, right? People are like, no, we don't. We pay more now. I'm like, no, when you adjust for inflation, we actually paid more back in 1992 because of the dollar. Anyhow, so that set people off. You're defending $70 games. What's wrong with you? And I never mentioned anything about Sony or $70 games or anything, just that we pay more for games back then. Even at $60, we say you pay $60 for games. You're still paying more back in 1992.
Oh, I paid $90 for a copy of Killer Instinct on N64.
Yeah, bro,
that's
if you
and I know found that's all using your reply, like, well, you got to cut cartridges and everything. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, cartridges were those are cartridge tags.
Okay, but also.
I remember spending. I think I know it was like $20. About what was the cartridge's average price back then? Was it $50 or was it $60?
It was $50.
I remember.
And
I remember I got hit with a $20 premium going to pick up Ocarina of Time because they said, hey, it's the last one. There's I bet you the guys you had in the counter split the extra $20. But yeah, I mean that back then, man. Yeah, that you write that in you figure it out with inflation, and we did spend the value we get today is kind of crazy, but keep going,
yeah, and and look, inflation.
T-Rod, I'm sorry, T-Rod just said, sorry in the chat. That was funny.
What did he say? You can't use difficulty settings on Twitter. Inflation is from software level. Jesus, that's actually pretty funny, T-Rock. Good shout to T-Rock, by the way. So people don't understand. Inflation is this applies to all. It applies to all consumer goods, right? The increase the price of all goods and services in an economy, right? And this is like, so we're paying more. And people said, "Oh, well, cartridges cost more money." So then I brought up what we used to pay for disc-based games. We paid more money back in 1998. For those games too. We paid more money back in the early 2000s for games. Why? Because when you adjust for inflation, that's what happens, right? And so people got really upset and were like, "Oh, you're capping, you're these greedy developers." And I'm like, it's not just Look, and again, I don't begrudge anyone who says, you know what, $70 isn't for me. But let's talk about something real quick. In 90, I think or 89, or was it 88 or 89, when the first Metroid came out. You guys remember the first Metroid, right?
Mm-hmm.
We paid $116. We paid $116 for that game and $22. In this year's, I can't even talk now. We paid $116. Well, that game, what we paid $50 for is $116.
Basically.
Thank you, man. 2022. Thank you. It's $116 today, right? Thank you, B. That game was 7 hours long. We paid $116 to play a game that was only 7 hours long. Can you imagine if we did that today? Can you imagine if we paid $116 for a 7-hour game? You know how people are complaining about Sifu having 5 levels. Can you imagine 7-hour games for $116? But that's what we did in 1989. That's what we paid. And I bring up this point too because, I mean, think about this. Even at $60, $70, think about how much more content we're getting, how much value per dollar we're getting with games today. We got games, Dying Light's like 500 hours. 500 hours. It's a $60 game. Ghost of Tsushima, if you get it on the PS4, it's 60. If you get it on the PS5, it's 70. That's like 80 plus hours. I mean, so things aren't always, I don't think things are as bad as people make it out to be. And I always think, in OBM, I bring this up because I think you have a little bit of insight in this when it comes to like the cost of development and human capital. All these things have progressively increased, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, AAA games, it's harder to make those games. They're more expensive. They're riskier. I've read that the profit margins are a little bit lower now, those games. I think even in 2019, maybe Take-Two's profit margins were like 3%, which is not good. They're not that now, but the point is that
I do think there's a big split. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just surprised it's still a major topic. And you know, it's hard to get too far into it because, like, I respect anybody's opinion to do things whatever's best for them. If you're
again. I agree. I don't begrudge anyone who doesn't want to pay money for that. I agree with that.
Right. Like you don't owe it. Like that's the other thing I hate is the flip side of this narrative. You know, you see it on Twitter. It's like, you know, like you owe these mega corporations to give them your top dollar. You know, out of the goodness, like it's a charity. It's not a charity. It's a business that goes both ways. I think that it's good though. I think it's good for gaming and for any market to have a wide disparity or a wide variety of pricing because it, you know, that wide variety. I mean, number one, it allows other games to stand out. I think it's only a problem if you know, if the platform holders are kind of setting bottoms, right? Saying, hey, you can't be a AAA game on our platform unless you're $70. Like if they're doing that stuff, those are things I could come, you know, forward and say, hey, that doesn't seem right for the consumer. But as long as you're giving every single developer and publisher the flexibility, yeah, I mean, the value proposition today is crazy across the board, and really all that does, a $70 game, all it does is give somebody who's a $60 game or a $50 game or a Game Pass, it gives them just additional, you know, value in a different sense. So you know, at the end of the day, when you have these different pricing models, whether the kinds you like or don't like, it does give developers flexibility to try different things around that as well. So I just let the market do what it's going to do. At the end of the day, if they continue to keep selling, then you've spoken. You know, then the market's spoken, and you just let it go. And if it's not good for you, then you know these things will eventually be on sale, or you can wait for them, right? So right. You know, we have a lot of options.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I say that to you, OPM, is like people got to get off this thing, stay out of people's pockets. Everybody's situation is different, and value is based on an individual, right? People have to stop this thing of where saying, like, let's just take Game Pass for an example. They go, well, it's $15 a month, I get all these games. To some people, that can be overwhelming, right? They're like, okay, I pay $15, I get all these games. I don't have the time to play all these games, so I may play 1 or 2 games a month or every couple of months, and I'm paying $15. Is that still a value to me? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on the person. Some people are like, I only play this. It cost me $70, but I'm going to play this for the next 6 months. I've got my $70 out of it. Right. You know, so people just need to stay in your damn lane. Like, it's not Gaming is not a one size fits all, and it just trips me out how people get into this thing of like, for some reason in the gaming space on Twitter, because let's be real, this is a Twitter thing. This is not a worldwide thing. But for some reason in Twitter, gaming is untouchable when it comes to cost and changing and evolution. It's okay in one aspect when it fits the narrative of the platform the person prefers, but it doesn't fit the other one, right? I'm like, every industry, like B said, going to the grocery store, everything goes up. Jeans don't cost the same thing. Shoes don't cost the same. A haircut doesn't cost the same. Go to a movie does not cost the same as it did even 5 years ago. But for some reason, gaming is supposed to hold. And then people, when you talk this way, the way that I'm talking, people say, well, why are you defending? I'm like, I'm not defending anything. Right. I just understand how these things go. And it's up to me as an individual to say, am I with this or am I not with it? But I understand why it goes the way it goes. And they're like, well, there's microtransactions, everything. I'm like, yeah, but not every game has microtransactions in it.
Right.
But the costs still go up to develop and do these different things. And I'm not defending. Again, I'm not defending. I just understand how it works.
Yeah, and you don't need to, if you don't think you're getting the right value or you think somebody else is giving you the same thing for $60, then go spend your $60. Yeah. I mean, and they'll adjust, right? So, right. And we saw Call of Duty obviously went up to $70, but we also saw it had a down year. So these companies will have to make adjustments. I don't really, and no matter how much you cry about it, if the market continues to buy it, then it's good. Then it will stay where it is. So there's not. Right. I don't think the crying about it really does much. So I just find it
does nothing.
I find it to be kind of a boring conversation. And at the end of the day.
And the other thing,
like Daniel Wynn said, even strippers have increased rates. Yeah, strippers have Cash App now. They have Cash App labels on their little thong thing where you don't have dollars in the club. There's no excuse anymore.
Do they really? Are you making that up?
I don't know. I'm making that up. I don't know.
No, B said yes. B just said yes. That's true.
Yes. Everybody has a Cash App thing now.
Wait, B, hold on. Are you saying they have Cash Apps now? The strippers do?
Yes, they do.
I would imagine strippers have Cash App.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, man. Stripping is going high end now, man. They're incorporating Cash Apps. Oh, you don't got $1? PayPal me, sir. That's funny.
It's like Trixie 208 Cash App. Whoa, okay.
Trixie 208. The one thing that OBM said that kind of really stands out too, and I go back to 1990 when we were paying $126 for video games. I mean, they were retailing $50, but in today's dollars, they're worth it's the equivalent of paying $126 today. We didn't have any options. There was no $10 game. There was no Game Pass. It was $50 across the board. So we didn't have as many options as we have today, and it's amazing to see, and it should be celebrated. I think that we have all these options, whether it's subscription services or indie titles like $20 games like Death's Door, which is a fantastic game. I mean, games did go on sale, but they seem to go on sale quicker now than they did 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
That's because there's too many games. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
Very true.
Yeah. So it's just again, I don't begrudge anyone who doesn't want to spend the money. That's fine. But I guess the issue I take, it's not just greedy devs. There's more layers to that. The argument isn't that simplistic, and people are talking about things that they have no idea what the hell they're talking about, as relates to the industry, how the development works, things like that. So that's my quick rant. I want to welcome Forte, who's going to help us discuss something that Forte and I talked about this morning. What's up, Forte? Forte, are you there? I think Forte fell asleep.
He's muted.
Oh, is he muted? Forte's playing Destiny.
All right, getting ready for Witch Queen, man.
Yeah, right. He's getting ready for Witch Queen. Man, I'm about to call Forte. Unmute yourself.
He might be handling something.
He might. Would you say?
He might be doing something with his kids or something like that.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. We'll have to come back to Forte then. All right. Let me get a super chat real quick by Carlos Crespin. $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. It says, why do PlayStation and Microsoft congratulate each other sometimes? Do they see each other as just friendly competitors rather than bitter rivals? OBM, how would you answer that, sir?
Could you repeat that question? I'm sorry. I'm like multitasking here, and I do apologize for that.
Carlos Crespin wants to know why you're an Xbox fanboy, OBM.
No,
I'm
I
just joking.
see. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just kidding. I'm reading it right now. So why do they congratulate each other sometimes? Like, I do believe there. I don't know how to put this, but at the end of the day, I think Microsoft and Sony are kind of comfortable with each other as competitors in the industry. I think both of them actually do need each other in some regards, and it's just not as straightforward. I know for a fact, like Microsoft is not trying to kill Sony. They don't want that perception. They don't want. I don't think they want to create that vacuum in the industry. I think a lot of what you hear from. What you hear from Phil Spencer when it comes to some of his comments that sound very kumbaya. I think a lot of that is just very strategic, and a lot of it is trying to establish a certain brand image as like, hey, we aren't the big bad guys. And now we kind of see, right? Like the last few weeks, we've seen them buy Activision Blizzard. It is running a business. I mean, I've heard from people that talk to Phil, and they say he's a really nice guy. Like when they talk to him, but I do believe at the end of the day, like what he's doing all this stuff, like from that position, that they are kind of playing the game. Like a lot of it is political. A lot of business is politics as well, and not just politics with actual politicians, but it's also kind of working the crowd, working the public. And Microsoft has spent 20 years trying to cleanse themselves of the toxin that came with the late 90s Microsoft image they had, and they don't want, and right now you see like most that venom's going towards those companies like a Google, like a Facebook, and they don't want to be part of that. So they are still playing. I still think they're playing an aggressive game on one hand, but they have to balance that, right? They can't just come in there and go like, we're going to go kill Sony, we're going to put them out of business. Like that wouldn't fly, and it's not good for them long term. And then I just think you see Sony kind of comply, because they would look like jerks if they didn't. So I think at the end of the day, they have a little bit more. They have a little bit more flexibility, I think, because they don't have that to worry about. That like nobody's really afraid that Sony's going to go take over the world and take over your homes, because they are more limited as a company in terms of what they do. When you're a giant tech corporation, everybody kind of like sleeps with one eye open around you, regardless.
It's like being married.
In trouble. Maybe you know what? I haven't had to worry about that for a little while. So, but yeah, it's a good question. I just believe it's part of the game. I mean, part of it might be a mix of things. It could be that his personality is just it right for what they needed there as well. Like that could just be like genuine, but at the same time as the corporation, when you think about it, like nobody in that position says things that aren't gleaned over from all those top investors, from everybody, at the highest levels that really make the decisions. So they know they know what's going out there. And I think that they approve of it. And I can say whether Phil is genuine about it or not, the people above him probably don't. The investors on the board don't really care. They don't really probably know gamers, they may not know anything about gaming. It's just it's part of the politics of it. So yeah, I think it's a long-winded answer. Yeah.
No, I think I'm glad you said all that, because there's definitely like this idea and this notion like there's a good side and a bad side, to this whole thing, and people try to do the pitting of Phil Spencer against Jim Ryan, and it's like none of you. I mean, there are people who legit know Phil and talk to him and stuff like that, but it's like, for the most part, none of you really know any of these people. You don't know what they're like in their private lives, what they do, and how they kind of roll. Phil seems like a very nice guy. There's like a tale of two Phils. There's like Phil, the nice guy who you want to have a beer with, and there's also still Phil, the CEO of a major corporation wing.
Yeah. Yep.
There's certain things he's going to say to make things sound better. And they've definitely leaned into this notion of being the good guys and the consumer friendly guys. And I'm like, every corporation has the same motive. It's to separate you from your wallet, whichever way they're going to go about it. Some look a little more egregious when they do it, because they may be a little fat, and eating good, and whatever, and then others have to kind of fight back and get off the couch. You know, I've used that analogy before. Like, they've been sleeping on the couch. They're trying to get back in the bedroom. So they have to like be really nice and say,
You said trying to get back in the
bedroom. Baby, that's a new dress. That's beautiful. You know, you have to put that presentation on until you get back in, and then you stop cutting the lawn again. It's just how it goes, you know. But people have to stop deifying and doing that with these like executives and stuff. They're people. My football coach used to always say, you don't ever put another guy on a pedestal. You don't have to be afraid of any dude on that field because he puts his pants on one leg at a time like you. He said, the asshole that jumps into his pants, you worry about him. You know?
Well, you know,
that would be Jim Ryan.
Oh man,
Ryan jumps into his pants 2 legs.
Yeah, he needs a pill. I think Jim Ryan does need a pill. And you know, this goes both ways though, because you know, like I've been saying this for years. You know, arguing with people. You know, I don't go there as much as I used to. I tell Enrique, like,
you're a big Reset Era fan. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Reset Era fan.
Yeah, I see you there a lot, dude. Come on, man.
No, occasionally I'll go in there and just argue with somebody. But you know, they treat these like, and I said this goes for all corporations, and this isn't a slight because corporations are basically, they're machines, but they're run by people, and people are people, right? So you can treat any person there with respect, but understand that the machine, the corporation, when you say Sony did this for me or Microsoft did this for me, that, you know, right. you're talking about a machine. Like, don't talk about them like a person and what they did, you know, for you 20 years ago, or, you know, they care about game. Like, no, the corporations, they're legally, like, and the people that are in those positions are legally have a job to bring as much profit to those shareholders as possible. And that is like their first job. And even Phil's admitted that, you know, like it's because he, you know, you'd be a fraud if you tried to say anything otherwise. When you're in those positions, that is your job. It's not, you know, obviously, like, taking care of the industry, if you're going to be a leader in it, is important because that does affect your bottom line, right? Like, the health of the industry does matter to very large corporations that, you know, that take a, you know, healthy investment within it. So they do have some responsibility to protect that industry's health. But that's again, that all relates back to what's good for them. Not because, you know, because they're treating it like a charity, or because, you know, a corporation's a nice person. And it goes again, as a consumer, you don't owe any corporation anything. It's not like somebody you grew up with, you know, like, or you know, or like a family member, you know. And I just see people kind of do that. It's like, you know, and it goes the other way. I hear, like, you know, Sony's in it for the love of the game, not for the money. Like Microsoft, I'm like, come on, guys. No, they don't. Sony and Microsoft, neither one of them, the machines do not have feelings. They just got a job to do. That's it.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. It's true, man. They're not, you know, they're not people per se. I mean, people work for them, but they're not. Yeah. But no, that's a great answer. Thank you for that. OBM. Forte, are you back?
Yo, what's up?
Forte!
What up?
What's going on, man? How are you, Forte?
Oh, I'm good, man. Being cleansed over here, not listening to all the stupid rhetoric that people that's talking about on Twitter. You know, it's a great place when you're not on Twitter, digesting all that crazy stuff every day.
Yeah, this is true. Forte, so I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I was like, I wanted to talk about something that you and I talked about this morning, because this month of February has been crazy in terms of video games. Like, we got a bunch of releases. Sifu came out. Dying Light 2 came out. We have Horizon. What am I talking?
Horizon, yeah.
Horizon,
yeah.
Horizon.
I heard that's a really good game, man. Running 60 frames per second up to 120. It's got HD, you know, HD cameras built into the rocks and stuff. I heard it was pretty good.
Got game in all over it.
I don't know, man.
It's got ray tracing.
It's got camshafts in it.
But no, Horizon Forbidden West is coming out soon. You know, then we got.
You talking about that game? Okay, I got you.
Forbidden West, yeah. Which, and then we have you know, Elden Ring. There's some other games sprinkled in there. I know I missed some. There's some smaller titles that are coming out as well. But the Witch Queen, Destiny, sir, Destiny 2.
Bae.
Now, I might be coming back to Destiny for a couple of days, man. I'm not gonna lie. Forte, you saw the
wait. You coming back to Destiny for a couple of days?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You're not coming back to Destiny.
Exactly.
Just come back for a couple days, man.
Why you wasting your time, man?
No, because I want to play. I want to play the Witch Queen. I want to play the DLC story, man.
And why you sitting here lying to yourself? Saying I'm coming back for a couple of days. You don't come back to Destiny 2 for a couple of days.
Yes, you do.
That's
man.
a damn job, man. Forte, talk to him, Forte. Tell me if you're not coming in dead.
I don't know what he thinks he's going to accomplish in a couple of days.
I already tried to tell him. I was like, yeah. Oh, you saw what Lucas said on Twitter. She was like, look like Elden Ring gonna probably be on hold for a minute.
That's some
I saw
talk.
that.
Erica was not happy with her.
Yo, Erica was like, wait a
on that
minute,
pretty
you breaking
fast,
up the
though.
family.
She fell back on that pretty fast.
Oh,
Though.
she did.
Oh, did she?
No,
okay.
that was just the front as of right now. You when you're getting attacked from all sides at one time, you gotta get the people what they want. But please believe, where she gonna be at on the 22nd. She gonna be there all the way until she get all the way maxed up, because you know what, she don't want to be that person that has to be carried through anything. She's gonna want to do it all on her own and everything, and she's gonna want to play with her peoples and stuff. So she'll still play Elden Ring day one. I think Elden Ring will come out. She'll play it on that Friday. Then, Friday and Saturday. Then Sunday she'll be right back on that grind again. And she'll be telling people, like, if you need help on Elden Ring, let me know. I'll help carry you. That's pretty much how Luke is gonna handle that.
So Forte, you saw the video log of the Witch Queen. I didn't see it, but you see pretty excited. The Vidoc, thank you. The
Vidoc was flat. It was cool.
So what are you excited about with the Witch Queen, and like what about this DLC has you hyped? I mean, you're a diehard Destiny fan, so what about this DLC's got you hyped, man?
Honestly, it's been almost 6 months since we had refreshing content, due to the fact that they delayed the DLC by 3 months. So it's been an elongated season. And then it's just the fact that I haven't played a lot. Like, I really took a huge break from the game, but probably like 2.5 months not really playing it. And kind of got a chance to recharge a little bit. And but I just like the fact that this is the biggest story infusion into the game that they put ever since I want to say probably since Taken King. Like, they're saying the story is bigger than Beyond Light, and Beyond Light up to this point was the biggest DLC they ever did. But they're saying story-wise, it's going to be more content complete than it was during Taken King, which is some of the best times we had in Destiny. So I'm more excited for stuff like that. I'm excited for foraging of weapons and stuff. So instead of just going out into the wild and, getting lucky on a roll, you can actually forge the weapon that you want by crafting it. I like the fact that they're giving you more RPG customization inside of Void 3.0. The same thing they did to Stasis. They're giving you the ability to have more customization over your Void subclasses with Arc and Solar coming later this year. So there's a huge rework around that. And just in general, just seeing that it's a lot of people super excited to play. I mean, Witch Queen had over 1 million pre-orders on the game, on the DLC, as of, I think, the announcement of Sony's acquisition of them. They announced it around the same time. So we all know how Bungie operates. They put out these huge, they start up these huge DLCs and stuff, and it just comes down to everybody's super excited because Destiny is one of the biggest. I try to tell people it's literally probably the most successful game of last generation when it comes to just new IPs and stuff. And people just love the franchise and stuff. And the story is finally starting to come together. I mean, it took them 7 years to get it there, but fortunately, now we're starting to see a lot of that stuff in game, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then it's like the perfect game to play with your friends. And if you got friends to play it with and progress through the game with, it's like no other to me. Unfortunately, it's just how it is for me, at least.
Don't plan to play no other games though.
So is this the last like major?
No, they got two. They got two more.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Forte, let me ask you on, like, for real. I know, I like to goof on Destiny. It's just I love everything about Destiny. I just don't think Destiny loves me.
Destiny doesn't love anybody.
It doesn't,
honestly.
because if I leave, she locks the door.
So I try to tell people.
That's funny. It's a great analogy.
No, you're right. And that's the biggest hang up for a lot of people that leave the franchise and try to come back like 4 or 5 months later, because it's like Destiny's like, okay, if we want to put somebody that we know in the community kind of on the spot with, it's like Mooch when it comes to Warzone. Like Mooch plays Warzone year round. He doesn't put it down. He puts it down to play other games and stuff, but he'll be on Warzone 16, 17 hours out of a week. That's kind of how you got to treat Destiny. Now, the biggest thing is, are you going to be productive in your 16 hours that week, or are you going to be a person just going to be lollygagging in there, just doing little things that really don't matter to progress your character? That's kind of the difference with people that like take a break from Destiny. They want to play with their friends and stuff, but they're not, doing the things to kind of keep up with them and everything. This is the best time to jump into the game because this DLC gives everybody the infusion all the way up to 1350. Everybody starts at basically the same level. So this only happens once every major release, and it's been almost a year and a half since the major release. So that's probably the best reason to get back in, because if you do want to be able to play with your friends and jump in day one, everybody's starting basically at 0 at 1350. Once you get 6 months or 2 months past that, then you're playing catch up with everybody else. And that's where the monotony starts at, because no one really wants to go back and help their friends run old content anymore because you're all doing the new stuff. Some people will. I will every once in a while do it, but let's be for real. I look at people like, man, you should have been playing this game from day one. Ain't nobody trying to play all this old stuff no more. But
you have a window, like you for real. You have like
there's legit. It is a window, yeah. But there are people in this community that will do that stuff. Like I did it. If it's somebody that you really, really want to play the game, like I told Enrique, I know he wants to play Elden Ring, and I know he wants to do this. I told him I'll come back and play a lot of that stuff with him. Like when we got Slow-Mo back in the game, the man that can't stand the game, he got over 300 hours in it. When we wanted to get him back into the game, we ran a lot of stuff with Slow-Mo just to get him
like
caught
270 some hours.
Okay, well that's still close to 300 hours in the game that you don't care.
You ain't getting 30 more hours out of me, sir. It's not happening.
That's the crazy thing. But like I said, it's cool. You just have to get it. But like the thing, I realized it myself though. The biggest thing is you just can't let Destiny destify you, because that's literally what this game will do. It will literally become a job. It will take everything away from you. And my whole goal for this year is not to be on Destiny 365 days this year. I will give it the first 2 weeks of the DLC because I want to be a part of raids first. I want to be able to try to go for that because that's some of the best times to play the game during the first first raid attempts and stuff. After that, then it's kind of going to slow down, and I'm just going to probably jump back into some other stuff. That's when I'm going to pick up Elden Ring and play that and everything. But you just got to go into it with a plan when you come to Destiny. You can't just say you're going to play it, but then not play it, because then guess what? You just wasted your money, honestly.
Mm. And when you say now, also like now would be like that. I don't think it'll happen, but with this whole acquisition thing, like the thing people have always asked for is like cross progression.
It's already there.
Cross progression on all platforms, like
on all platforms. You just link your account to your Bungie account. Go into Bungie under your linked accounts, link your PlayStation, Xbox, Steam accounts, freaking Stadia account. Mm-hmm. Any platform you go on, it will automatically transfer all your stuff over.
Yeah, I think that's what I was doing the last DLC too.
They started it with Beyond Light. The only thing that doesn't, the only thing, I mean, dude, they made it super approachable now. The only things that don't transfer is your major DLCs. But like, say if you go in, you buy Witch Queen
or the expansions they vaulted.
What I'm saying, all the major expansions. That's what I'm saying. So any major expansion doesn't transfer over. The seasons do. So like if you buy Beyond Light, like they have the $70 or $80 version of not Beyond Light, the $80 version of Witch Queen. That gives you the main DLC, and it gives you every season up into the next one. So if you buy that, you'll have access to all seasons on another system. So like if you go to PlayStation, you wouldn't be able to play like the Witch Queen campaign and stuff, or you wouldn't have Void 3.0. But you'll be able to play all the seasonal content on those platforms. But the only thing you would have to buy to be caught up is just the main DLC. and then you'll be caught up. At least in that DLC, you still have to purchase all the other stuff. But I wouldn't purchase any other stuff, because I do think that stuff's going to end up becoming free at some point, because they always, usually a year and a half after a major DLC comes out, they make all the previous ones as part of the package, so you don't. So everybody tries to stay together.
So Forte,
so that's how they sort of mitigate the whole like cross progression thing. They make you buy the DLCs, the major DLCs.
The major DLCs you have to buy, yeah.
Gotcha. So Forte, so if I want to play it on PC, I got to buy it on PC. If I want to play it on Xbox, I got to buy it on Xbox then too, right?
You got a PC, you buy it on Xbox.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Man, why are you pocket watching? We just had this conversation.
Well, look, this is the thing. Well, this is another thing I try to tell people too.
That's a clout check.
Yeah, this is the other thing I try to tell people. The only reason you would unless, like in my case, I have to buy it on multiple. Well, I don't have to. I choose to do it because I enjoy playing Destiny at 120 frames per second or higher, not just in PvP. I like doing it in the campaign. Whereas compared to console, you can only do it at 60. The PvP is 120, but it's 60 on console for PvE. So unless you're playing in PvP, because this is the biggest thing, a lot of people that play on Destiny don't want to play against people that play on PC and play in a Crucible or play in PvP. So if you do that, then you're basically putting all your console brethren in the crosshairs against those people on PC they don't want to play with. So that's why I buy it on Xbox too. So whenever I want to play like PvP with like say Luca or Taz or somebody, I can just jump on my Xbox account and then still have access to everything over there. But if you're not worried about playing on PvP or anything, just buy the DLC where you want to buy it. And it doesn't matter because the PvE side of it is cross everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I might get it.
They did some good things with it. It's worth that. Like I said, if you jump in after, I'll say if you wait like a month, you still wouldn't be super far behind. The jump between levels this time is 1350 to 1550. Everybody starts at 1350, so that's why I say, especially with games like Horizon comes out on the 18th. My goal is to get through that as much as I can before Witch Queen comes out, because I know I'm not going to play any of it after I do that until after I beat it.
Yeah, Witch Queen is what, the 22nd?
The 22nd, right? Yeah. So it literally comes out in between Horizon and it comes out the week after because Horizon comes out that Friday. Witch Queen comes out that Tuesday. The Elden Ring comes out that Friday, which is a murderer's row of content for pretty much anybody that likes to play games. So
that's wild, man.
So that just comes down, like I said, just if you want to play all that stuff, it's like some people are just gonna make a decision. Like, we're gonna see how many people truly love Destiny when all that stuff starts happening, or were they really just capping for games like Elden Ring? Like, I can't wait for Elden Ring to come out, but you in Destiny every day and ain't really playing Elden Ring, or the same thing with Horizon. So people posted their stats a couple weeks ago talking about how much they play the game and how much they enjoy the game and everything. So all that's going to be put to the test in literally the next week and a half.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Elden Ring, Slimmo, are you still thinking about picking that up? Is that something
Yeah, he is.
I'm not. If the people that I was planning on playing it with are too busy playing Destiny, then I'm just not going to do it. Because
Slimmo, I will be there, man.
No, Slow-mo?
Slimmo, I'll be there on Elden Ring. Let's co-op it, man.
Yeah, you can co-op it with him, man.
All right. Look, I that's my only interest in it, seeing the big open world and playing it with other people. I was like, all right, that looks cool. Otherwise, I'm not all that interested in it. So yeah, I want to play with other people. If you down to play it, I'll play with you. I'll still get it.
I have a question. How you're not? I mean, in this, like I said, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to shade you or anything. As much as I always try to shade you, I'm not doing it now. You really like Dark Demon Souls. You really like it.
Yeah.
But why are you not as interested in, Elden Ring as you are in Demon Souls after playing it?
I don't really. I can't really call it. It's not that. It's like I'm not as interested in it as I am in Demon Souls. It's just there's so much coming out all at once right now.
Okay.
I'm not as interested in that as I am Horizon Forbidden West, Lost Ark, all the other games that I'm going to be playing at the same time. So that's why I was like,
there's a lot of content.
If I play it, I will get it, because the reason why I'm still considering getting it is that I know by the time I would have eventually picked it up, a lot of people would have been out of it. and playing something different by then. Mm-hmm. But if I want to co-op with other people, then like, I'm probably going to need to do it with other people who are playing it. So
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
I have a really quick question for you, Forte, about the Destiny. So do they? Is it full crossplay yet, or you still have to be on the same system?
No, it's full crossplay.
How does that work with like friends lists and things like that? Like how easy is it?
So you have two friends lists that are integrated into your system. You have your console friend list, and then you have your Bungie's friends list.
Oh, okay.
So when you if a person sends you an invite on a system, they give you a friend. They basically show up on your console friends like they do now, like they always did. But if you give a person your Bungie ID, which is just like your Blizzard ID or something like that, then they can go to the website and then you can link any account to that, and then they become your Bungie friend, and then they literally just show all of your friends, no matter what platform they're on, all under one friends list. So you'll see the icon next to their name saying that they're on console. They'll show Stadia. They show PS4. The funny thing is for PS PlayStation, it shows like a little controller. It doesn't even show the icon for PlayStation for some reason. I don't know why not. But for like Steam, it shows the Steam icon. For Stadia, it shows the little Stadia S and everything. So it's really cool. You can really tell, but you just gotta, it's like just training people to like, hey, what's my Bungie friend ID? And it's usually your gamer tag followed by a hashtag or whatever, 4 numbers. And then they just put it in on the website. Then they add you that way.
So it's a little bit of work then to kind of get your friend.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if they add you on Bungie, it shows up in the game. So so both people don't have to do it. You just have to, one person just has to go to the website to send the invite, and then it shows up in game under the invite tab, and then you just click. And you can also, I take that back, and you can also search in game too for it if you know their ID. You can do it in game too.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good to know. I think it's interesting. It's, it especially with like this Call of Duty thing. One of the things I've been wondering is like, what is there going to be going forward? Are they going to start streamlining the stuff with more and more stuff being crossplay, or do they, or is it just that the ecosystem owners, the platform owners want to keep it more complicated, or do you think, it obviously seems like there's still a lot of opportunity to bridge.
Like outside of like Call of Duty and Destiny, I really don't know too many other games that are fully cross play like that. Cross save, cross play, everything's all integrated together. Friends list are all tied together. I know other games do. I know games like Outriders did it, but it was like very, very convoluted and stuff when it came to stuff like that. You couldn't be in the same party. You had to send invites from here to do that. And, the cool thing about, like I said, Destiny's is if you see it, once they're on your friends list, either your Bungie friend list or your console friends list, they literally just show up on your list like just anybody else. You click on their name in that list. You can join them, like no matter what platform they're on, they can join you. You can start parties right from there. So it's very, very seamless in the way they set it up. I just think it just comes down to making sure you have all that stuff set up. And they do a really good job because you have to set up. They don't opt you into crossplay when you first get the game. Like when you first boot the game up, you are not integrated into crossplay. You have to go to the website to actually activate crossplay on your account. And once you do that, then it automatically pulls you with everybody. So the cool thing is you get the ability to opt in and opt out. The only thing is once you opt in, if you ever opt out, you have to be you can't opt back in for 60 days.
Right. Okay.
So that's the only thing they limit you from doing. But once you're opted in, you're in, but they don't do it automatically.
Well, it's going to be interesting now with a couple of the biggest crossplay games with with Sony owning Bungie and Microsoft owning Activision. It'd be interesting to see if they go, well, let's just make this easier. But I don't know. But
I think that's going to also, like I said, I think that's part of the reason why that Bungie was scooped up by Sony too. People talk about the games as a service side of it and that stuff, but I think the infrastructure, the way that they were able to build this into their game, natively, without pretty much any issues. I think the first day it went live, people had issues with connections and stuff like that, but they kind of ironed that out really, really quick. And they're doing this, and they do have dedicated servers. I mean, unfortunately, PvP is not on the dedicated servers. Everything else is. But the fact that they have that type of infrastructure, I think, allows them to bridge gaps that most games can't do. I mean, granted, it's a 1,000-man studio with a lot of money behind it, and even more with Sony's acquisition of them. So I think it's just the sky. The sky is more the limit with them and all of the things that they can put into the game going forward, since they're hiring so many more people to do things inside the game and outside the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, good insight, man. I appreciate all that. Maybe I'll finally get on there and hit a raid someday.
That's what y'all say. That's what y'all say. I will tell you, look,
we hit the time limit. This has been about 10 minutes of Destiny talk.
But you know
let's move it.
Let's wrap it up. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
You do realize that people are out here.
We're gonna move on.
No, you do realize that people are out here saying we did not know Destiny was this big.
Okay, well now they know. So we're gonna move on to a new topic.
Such a hater.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Slow-mo's like no.
I see that chat still moving though.
It's definitely not going to be anywhere close.
Yeah, yeah, it did have some performance issue. Then Splatoon.
It'll probably run great on the Steam Deck though.
Oh wow.
Run like a slow jam.
Did you say it's going to run great on the Steam Deck?
Chopped and screwed.
Yeah, it's going to run. It's going to run.
I thought you said you was all about supporting developers and stuff, but you want to just take their game and mod it, huh?
Look. There's a way to do that and still support the devs. Buy the game. You got
to buy the game on PlayStation
and still emulate it. That's fine.
Oh my God!
So you're still going to buy it on the system you don't have?
Yeah.
All right. So
let me emulate it.
So Splatoon 3, Splatoon 3 Salmon Run this summer, and actually Splatoon is actually a decent, I guess, shooter if you want to call it that. Well, it is a shooter, I guess. That's actually a decent game. I actually thought Wii Sports, the sequel to Wii Sports, is kind of cool because that was actually pretty fun on the Nintendo Wii back in the days. Mario Strikers look pretty interesting. That's June 10th. No Man's Sky's coming to Nintendo Switch. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes arrives in June. And then I think that's for me. Those were then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is getting DLC through 2023. There's a
service game.
How you skipping past?
What's that?
You just skipping past like that fire that they showed, man.
What's the fire? What are you talking about?
Man, Portal 1 and 2.
Well, I was about to get to that. I haven't got to that yet.
Taking so damn long. You like a slow frame rate. Let's go.
I'm like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Yeah, Portal 2 are coming to Switch, and that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kirby the Forgotten Land, Advanced Wars 1 and 2 reboot.
Fire Emblem 3 Hopes is the only game that was there that was worth mentioning.
What about Chrono Cross?
I don't really care for like
the inferior Chrono game
type games though.
And you know that game is barely going to look better than the original.
Yeah, I'm not expecting like a Shadow Colossus type situation, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, but look. But
there's a bunch of games though. Okay, so there's a lot of games coming this summer.
I hope Cross is successful because if it is, that just makes it a higher chance that Square would come to their senses with Chrono Trigger. They always seem to, like, their best games take forever to bring them back. Like, people were begging them for years to do Final Fantasy VII Remake before they finally announced that they would. And then they had the audacity to say some silly comment like, well, we didn't know people wanted to play this again. Are you high? What the freak have you not know? Are you saying this is your most popular Final Fantasy? What are you talking about? And it's just like they not giving Final Fantasy VI any love.
That is kind of wild because a lot of people bring up Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, like you bring back all these other games. What's the one that they brought back? I could barely remember the name. Live a Lie, or whatever the hell that is. Like, why are you bringing this back? Where's my Final Fantasy VI at, man? But no, Fire Emblem 3 Hopes almost made me want to buy a Switch again until I remembered I got my Steam Deck pre-order, so I'm good. But
that's
I would definitely have that by. I actually, you know what? Also with screenshots on Twitter. I don't even know.
It's
All I know is Fire Emblem, and it's got the same characters in it.
Game.
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of those types of games. So, yep.
Never mind.
Yeah, it is kind of like it's like Persona Strikers in that kind of way, you know. But Persona Strikers wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I like Persona Strikers.
All those games are the same.
It's like Persona Strikers.
Well, Persona Strikers is like a Dynasty Warriors type game.
It is.
Yeah,
okay.
It's actually pretty cool. I mean, it's got like the same, charm as the Persona 5
story elements.
Story elements, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
it's again, if it's like a Dynasty Warriors in there, I'm good.
Yeah,
no, I like it though.
Just doesn't. I don't feel that.
Yeah, I like the same damn character model in like mosquitoes. I'm swatting them on screen now.
Yeah, like you just like swing your staff 3 times and like 20 soldiers just die immediately.
They're over here now. Let's go over here and get them. The same character model. Let's go. They're in the corner.
They're on like Dynasty Warriors 13 or something. Like it's the same game.
He's pocket watching more.
Nah, hey.
Oh, it's not pocket watching. It's just like he's just saying he don't like it, which is, I mean, it's understandable. It's the same gameplay. I was playing them Dynasty Warrior games with my friends on PlayStation back when we were teenagers. Mm-hmm. Like it's not, nothing has changed.
They haven't changed. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
and they have the same kind of game. I mean, they have their following. It's like each their own. It's just not my vibe.
Dynasty Warriors was fun when it came out, though. Like when it first came out,
because Nintendo's they're good for this because they have like Calamity, Hyrule, what is it? Legend of Zelda, Calamity War, what it is?
Yeah, Calamity Wars.
That's like a Dynasty Warrior type, and then they did the same thing with Hyrule and whatever. I don't know. That's just, I guess, go for it.
Yeah. No, I think it's a decent. I mean, I think it's a decent Nintendo Direct. I mean, they got a lot of content coming.
No, it was
in the summertime. Yeah, so I think that's great. I haven't been playing my Switch much at all, really, because I've been focused on some other things. But no, I think it's definitely a decent showing by Nintendo. So, is there anything that?
I love Force Unleashed, but as I was looking at it, I was like, I don't remember that game looking that bad. But
yeah, that game did not. I think the 360 version looked better than that one.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that looks rough.
Like, what is this? Like, why is that? Yeah. But no, I again, some content. I did like Mario Strikers Battle League. I thought it looked pretty cool. But I'm actually I Wii Sports, man. I'm all about that for sure. Like that definitely looks like it's going to be fun. So, anything else that you guys are excited for out of that Nintendo Direct? Any other games?
I'm gonna probably pick up Live Alive or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
The game that's that wasn't released outside of Japan. The game looked pretty good, so I'll probably check that out.
Right.
Like check out the Triangle Strategy demo.
Yeah, I downloaded that.
Yeah, when does that come out? Is that today or when does that come out?
The demo's out right now.
Yeah, right now. That's right. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's.
Anybody copping Advance Wars?
I hear you. What'd you say?
I said anybody copping Advance Wars collection?
I don't know. Probably not for me. Probably not for me now.
I'll probably pass on that.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the next Fire Emblem, and hopefully when Final Fantasy Tactics gets announced, I'll get that instead.
Yeah, I'm
definitely copping Portal though, the Portal collection.
Yeah, I may pick that
up.
Love Portal. I'm probably gonna pick up Chrono Cross.
I have that on Xbox.
Yeah.
What is it called?
The orange
box. Orange
collection. Yeah, orange box. Yeah.
But Portal 2, I believe, is not available on back compat. Portal 1 is, I believe.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait for it to come on Game Pass. See.
You really anticipating it?
Yeah, I'm anticipating.
Then it's a must. Then it's a must that you wait for it.
It feels like a Game Pass type. I'm sorry. I'm definitely going to pick up Chrono Cross. I'll say that much. Chrono Cross is definitely something I'm going to pick up, just out of nostalgia. It's the best out of the series. So
I would have picked it up if they remade it, but they can keep that where it's at.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hear you, B. I hear you. Just for me,
like,
it's
go ahead,
just,
hold on to that for me.
For me, it's just nostalgia. Anyone interested in Earthbound? It's coming to Switch Online. Anyone interested in that? No. Okay.
I like to pretend I am.
Why don't they just give us Mother 3 like everybody's been asking for forever?
Right?
Why do they keep doing this to Nintendo fans? This is utterly ridiculous. They released these games multiple times. Reggie teased Mother 3 like when he was still at Nintendo. Everybody thought it was coming. There was no announcement. What the hell is going on?
But yeah, I don't think it's ever coming, man. I could be wrong, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it could. Yeah. Like they'll bring it here as a download and then do like a fire ass like collector's edition for like Europe and Japan.
Of course.
Yeah. Or they'll put it in the online service here. Yeah. Speaking of, I was laughing at like the whole Mario Kart 8 thing. Because I'm like, okay, so you can buy those DLCs, well, again, for a game that's how old now?
I don't know. We've been playing that since, Wii U?
Yeah. So that's
is it Wii U? Yeah.
Easily close to 8 years old now?
Yeah. All 40 maps remastered or something. Is that right?
Which is cool. That's cool.
That is kind of cool.
There's a nostalgia play there, right? I get it. But then what made me laugh is they're like, yeah, you can buy the collection or you can get it in the Nintendo Online expansion pass. I'm like, fuck y'all, man. You doing that? Like, no. I said, I will gladly just pay for that shit. Like, yo, the price on that, I remember when it dropped. People are like, yo, that's fine. I get N64 games and I only got to pay $70 a year. Y'all crazy. I'm pocket watching now, Enrique. If you
I could tell. I mean, look, man. I mean, yeah, I could tell.
I'm like, that's insane, man. Then what was funny about that too is that the games came out and didn't work right. I'm like, N64 games didn't work right in online.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, that's what y'all get.
Oh my goodness, that is funny.
But no, I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'll just pay for if I really want to go get those DLCs because I know my daughter loves like the Mario Kart stuff. I was like, I'm not paying for that expansion pass just for that. Because it's whack.
Yeah. No, I hear you, E. I hear you, man. I mean, I hear you.
Yeah.
But
that expansion pass reminds me of like, again, when they dropped the new 3DS with the little eraser nub on it controller thing. And they were like, it's got that little nub thing at the top. And the only game that it really worked with was
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
You remember this, B? They said, guess what, guys? Super Nintendo games are available today. Only on the new 3DS, because apparently the old 3DS can't run Super Nintendo games. Bye!
Dude, man, Nintendo a bunch of drug dealers, man.
Yeah.
How you have new hardware that can't run old? Make it make sense, man.
Yeah, it doesn't work on the old DS, even though the old DS is like 10 years, 15 years newer than the console itself.
What's one of the oldest versions of Android? One of the oldest candy versions, like Kit Kat or something like that?
Yeah. Yep.
Nintendo's the only platform.
Super Nintendo game can run on Kit Kat, and they talking about it can't run on the old 3DS. You need this special new 3DS to run a Super Nintendo game.
Nintendo's the only platform that actually takes away stuff, and people and people love it. Like the Wii U. Didn't the Wii U have like free online and a whole bunch of other stuff that the Switch doesn't have?
Dude, the Wii U had actual gamer tags.
Got rid of those.
Got rid of those. You don't need that no more. But
we're gonna give you a serial number.
When they introduced their online for Switch, they actually took away some functionality for online for some of the games that were already out that people were enjoying online before they came out with their play. So they actually took away stuff that you were enjoying to force you to pay for an inferior version of it. And people were just like, okay, cool.
Right. Which the debate around whether the Switch was a handheld or a console, I'm like, it's an easy debate to win. It is a handheld because they went back to the damn phone number system. Like the instead of using actual gamer tags, they're using the friend code thing again. That is what they do with the 3DS. So no, it's a handheld, plain and simple.
It's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid, yeah.
4 years after launch, hey, we're gonna push a firmware update to allow you to use wireless headsets. Nintendo, thank you. and then we're gonna have a new version with an OLED screen and an Ethernet port. We got Ethernet ports.
25 years after other consoles had Ethernet ports.
Are you serious right now? Like,
oh my god.
They're like, what people like? What about voice chat? They're like,
silence.
What about achievements? Can we get achievements?
But the craziest thing is that you could call people on a Wii U. Like,
right,
you can hit your friend up and do like a little video chat. There's no voice chat on the Switch.
Yeah.
The funny thing is,
hardware
Nintendo
limitations.
They pretend like they don't know what the internet is and how it works, but they know how to copyright strike channels.
Oh my goodness.
They got that down. They got that part down really well.
Right.
They just shut down a YouTube channel. This guy didn't monetize a single video. All he was doing was recording music from Nintendo games and just putting them up on the channel so people could enjoy like music from old school Nintendo games.
Did Nintendo successfully
200,000 copyright claims on non-monetized videos. Like you're not making any money off of that because he's not making any money off of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait,
and it's funny too because like there's things that will happen like with the Switch and stuff and Nintendo system, and it doesn't get reported on like it does with like Microsoft or Sony, because there was a point where they were having like major download issues, like with your games and stuff. It's like you can't, like, this isn't downloading, or it's not accessible or some. And I went to the site, and that's the first thing that was on there. Actually, I called the number too. I was like, hey, well, that's the first thing it said. If you're having this issue, da 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 da. I'm like, so this is like a major thing, like they know about, but nobody reported on it. I'm like, that's crazy. You ask Nintendo where a feature is, they're like, the number you have reached 29 is disconnected. Yeah, man, this gets crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's we're just having fun poking at Nintendo. I'm sure. Nintendo fans.
I got my Switch in front of me right now, looking at something.
Yeah, but now, let me get the super chat real quick before we move on to the next topic. Fee, I hope I pronounced this correctly. Fee Mua, the $5 super chat says Xenogears needs a remake. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate it. Not a remake on the Switch, though, I don't think. But anyhow, all right, let's get on to the topic here as relates to Activision Blizzard. We got some more news, probably some clarification. I think this is, clarification on whether or not COD's going to be multi-platform. And so today, Microsoft came out and said, let me pull this up real quick. Actually, our good buddy Benji,
that it's only if you're willing to be clarified.
What's that?
This only applies if you're willing to be clarified.
Yeah, exactly, right. So Microsoft states that this is a good buddy Benji Sales tweeted this out. That's why I caught wind of this. Said Microsoft states they will continue to release Call of Duty and other popular Blizzard titles on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement into the future, so Sony fans continue to enjoy games that they love. We are also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business. I still see people out there saying that that COD's going to be exclusive. One individual I saw said that this only means the agreements for existing games are already in pipeline, that they're not going to dump support for those games after the deal. So there's some interesting takes going around here still with regards to COD and some of the other Activision Blizzard games that could be multi-platform. I think this is pretty clear that Call of Duty is going to be exclusive. Now, I think that's great. I think it protects the. I know OBM, you and I talked a lot about this. I think it protects the IP. You don't damage the IP per se by potentially pulling the rug out under the platform where majority of people play this game, that being on the PlayStation, and then also, you know, part of the funny thing about this announcement too is the reaction to it, where I saw people upset, and I don't understand this. Like, I don't know where this came from, but it's like now it's like Sony is somehow bullying $1 trillion company by getting exclusives. Like, I don't understand that mindset, and like, Sony's getting all the exclusives. They're preventing Microsoft from getting stuff, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, wait a minute, like that's both companies are getting exclusives here. Like, what are we talking about? I don't understand that. Like, I saw a lot of that.
If anyone is bullying Microsoft, it is the FTC and the government.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, but some wild
people bullying Microsoft.
Some wild takes that just lack this irrational thought process out there. That somehow Sony's preventing certain genres on the PlayStation or on the Xbox platform, and that that it's not fair that Sony gets games like Ghostwire Tokyo, like they get Spider-Man, that they keep those games exclusive, and Microsoft can't get any game. Go ahead, man.
I'm saying I really wish people would understand how the whole Spider-Man thing worked.
Well, that's the problem. They don't understand licensing.
They seem to refuse to want to understand how that whole thing works. But no, go ahead, Enrique. I don't mean to. Please, Enrique, continue.
But I bring this up because it's really comical. Like, it's funny. Like, these takes, I'm like, what is going on with people? What are we doing here? What is going on?
We're being stupid.
Why are we being this stupid? Like, holy shit! Like, what happened? I'm serious. If you're watching the movie Idiocracy, watch it. That's where we're heading.
No. What baffles me is like people don't point the blame at who the blame should be pointed at. They blame everything else. Like, it's like, again, like you alluded to, and you said, they're Sony's bullying Microsoft and not allowing them to get these Japanese titles, and they're not allowing them to have a Spider-Man game. And I'm like, who has all the money that people like to talk about all the time? Saying that Microsoft has juggernaut pockets.
Yeah, I just think
how's broke ass Sony bullying anybody?
Well, it goes both ways. Like, I think people won't go to the console wars. It's still a sport, and people play it. I mean, we see it every day in Twitter, and it goes like, I've been a little bit of. I've only been on Twitter, I think, less than a year. I've already very exhausted. I didn't realize it was still such a big thing. I remember it was cool back in the day. Right after I gave up those Z Cavariccis and I was still wearing the beeper. I remember it was very cool back in those days.
Oh man,
man, OBM just dated himself.
Sega does and Nintendo don't. I mean, that was fun. Like that back then it was kind of cool.
OBM, that was the real console war though. Those dudes, legit hated each other.
They were trying to kill each other. They didn't want either one of them. And honestly, I think at points here, I mean, well, this thing is so damn complicated that I'm going to try not to talk for like an hour because everybody's going to have to go to bed. But it is just a different game. There is different expectations whether people like it or not. Sony has basically. Their product is in, mostly gaming, and then a couple other things. They're not a tech corporation. Tech corporations are going to have higher levels of scrutiny. Microsoft isn't doing this to be nice to Sony. This goes back to what we said earlier. They're doing what's best for themselves in this. And so this whole, they started it, or you need to punch back. Microsoft's already punched back. They got lots of exclusives this generation. We already know that the majority of Bethesda games, they have a lot of second-party deals. I think they've already cast their chips and same with Jim Ryan. I think both companies have already cast their chips for this console generation. They're now looking beyond that, and that is why Sony bought Bungie, and that is why Microsoft could not pass up on this deal for Activision Blizzard. They're never going to make up $69 billion within the console space. This is because they are thinking much, much bigger. Fortunately for anybody who is in the console space, like myself, I am, I do bathe in Game Pass butter. It is my thing. I do love the value that comes there and being able to try different things.
You don't support devs, OBM.
Yeah, I don't care. Like that. I mean, I care about the devs, but I can't.
I'm joking, by the way.
First. Yeah, right. I am a consumer first. This is going to provide amazing value in that service for me, and that value is going to go forward. And that's the thing that's happened here. If you're somebody who's locked into that ecosystem, you're getting these games now you can count on Activision Blizzard launching into Game Pass, for years and beyond this console generation, onto your PC if you decide to move on to PC down the road, onto mobile devices if that is ever, something that that you want to engage in, if it ever gets good enough for you. So like that's what this is for. It's a long-term play. And it is a $70 billion. What's Sony's market cap? Is it like twice that? I mean, this is like half the value of that company. You really can't make comparisons to a single game and, a mega publisher, a Call of Duty platform. And one of the things I've argued, and it's been unpopular, even within the community, I think this is the right thing to do for Microsoft for the IP. I also think when you're ingesting a bunch, tens of millions of consumers, it's not so much that they need Sony or they need that base. They are now inheriting tens of millions of consumers that only have ever played on PlayStation for over a decade or whatever. And Call of Duty is basically a lifestyle. It's a social platform. It's more than just a game. And I think that's the thing that people kind of are missing. This is kind of like a way of life, and people are just used to it. In some countries, they don't even have Xboxes on retail. And this is just the thing they play, every day with their friends. And I think it's the right thing to do. And you even saw them say that. I think there's a realization this is different. I think this was the right call. Long term, it's also going to give Microsoft a little bit, by lowering the guard with the FTC and stuff. I feel like this deal is going to pass regardless. But we know Microsoft is not just thinking about this as in how we're going to get through tomorrow or next year. This is a corporation that's going to continue to buy lots of other big corporations, not just in gaming, but in other things. Right now, they're not in the government's, they're not in their line of sight the way that Facebook and Google are, and they want to stay out of there. And in fact, with this announcement, you saw them strategically kind of calling out Apple and Google, right? And so, like, this is politics. It's really bigger than the console war, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. They still think it's all about the console. The reason Microsoft even bothered to make this investment or the Bethesda investment is because they think gaming is going to become much bigger than that long term.
No, that's well said, OBM. I mean, I want to open up to the panel, guys. What are you guys' thoughts about? Actually, I want to go to you, Slobo. You had an interesting back and forth with someone, but what are your thoughts on this, man?
I think this is pretty definitive. And I was on the side before of thinking that like there would be some exclusive games out of this, that they were just going to do existing contractual obligations, and then they would do Warzone, and that would kind of fulfill the whole we want to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation side of it, because Warzone is still Call of Duty, just not like one of the mainline annual release Call of Duties. And that would be kind of like their way of fulfilling what they said they would do, while also getting themselves some exclusive content for their platform. But I think it's been my theory is that there has been some talks behind the scenes that have kind of changed some things since the announcement of the acquisition and the announcement of the Destiny acquisition. But I think also like the fact that they have their people up in Washington D.C. telling them that they're not even going to have any kind of like advantages for these games on their platform compared to the PlayStation platform, but the versions of the games just kind of shows that like they're really concerned about potentially not getting this deal to go through. And it kind of reminded me of some things about like, even though now T-Mobile and Sprint have done the merger. Like T-Mobile and Sprint have been trying to merge for years. They had failed attempts to merge, I think twice before it finally got done. And I recall speaking to people that I know from work who knew some inside baseball on the entire reason why it got blocked, and it was really all lobbyists. It's extremely political. It was all lobbyists fighting on one side or the other. So like a lot of what's going on now isn't necessarily strictly just about the law and is it fair and who's getting what. Like, no, there's more going on here than we think. And I think they're very concerned about like this getting shut down for no other simple reason than a politician didn't get his wheels greased the way he wanted it to, or didn't get his nonprofit his nonprofit didn't get a nice little check. So it's like they want to make sure that this isn't going to be a problem. So you're going to say that it's business as usual. Nothing's going to change as much as you can to try to make it seem as if, well, I mean, not just seem as if, because if you're going to say it, you're going to have to do it. That you're going to have to just keep things the status quo once the acquisition is done.
Well, and just to kind of elaborate on that, because I've listened to a lot of what Hoag's put out there over the last few weeks, and he's basically called it like an 80-20 kind of deal, and basically he said what you said, is that there always is that possibility. It's not just based on the precedent and what's logical and all that. You do have to deal with the politics of it, and public perception has a lot to do with politics, and that's one of the reasons why. I don't think that, there's the case has been made that if you play it strict literal semantics, there's still a little bit of wiggle room. But they understand, like they have lawyers look over this. They understand what the public perception is going to be on a communication like this. And I don't think you're trying to play semantics games with regulators, especially not Microsoft, especially, like I said, after 20 years of trying to to fix their image, they want to stay out of the crosshairs. I also say that and I believe this before this all came out here, I also believe we know they're not done, and they can't be based on what their goals are. They've talked about they need to do stuff in Japan. They need more family friendly things. This is obviously a start. We know that you look at the Netflix model, which is I mentioned before in the show that Nadella was mentored by the guy who co-founded that. They understand that whole the content aspect of it. They need a lot more content. Like even with this, they're going to still need more content if they want to appeal to people in the East, if they want to appeal in other countries, and treating this particular way, it actually kind of sets the table for them to get Japanese companies. And maybe that's not a publisher, maybe that's just developers. But if you kind of start setting this precedent, and you're saying, and you go and you can point back and say, see what we did with Activision Blizzard, that's the same kind of treatment you're going to get. You're still going to be able to release the games you develop, for us on those platforms that all your friends play on, back home. I think that's going to be a major point, because it's not just about buying companies, it's about retaining talent and having people want to actually develop for you. So I think these things, this puts Microsoft in a really good position. It puts the Xbox platform in a better position long term, and more, I'd say more so than making this exclusive. And then, like I also, was talking about with Forte earlier, trying to find out more about this crossplay stuff. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and there may have already been talks with, with obviously that there was talks with Jim and Phil Spencer. I'm sure they're talking about, Microsoft was going to use this as leverage. Phil Spencer just had an interview, was it like a day or two ago, where he talked about how they use Minecraft. They always intended to keep that multiplat, but he said he used that as a leverage to push for crossplay. So they probably use this as leverage, and then they probably have some sort of, I don't know if it's a wink agreement, because you legally can't make any agreements right now, but there's probably some sort of understanding. And, maybe you leave that just vague enough to keep that leverage in there. But I believe that there, there's probably some some understanding between them, whether that is, whether that has anything to do with money hats or has to do with, bringing, streamlining the friends list across the platforms. There's probably a lot of different things. And I know that's something that Phil Spencer's kind of talked about a lot, is figuring out how to bridge those gaps between platforms. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that we see some evolution in, those systems and stuff. So like I said, it could be a win-win for everybody, with just looking at this in a vacuum. And, I agree with you. I think that the regulatory has a lot to do with it, but it's not just about this. Nadell is concerned about Microsoft's image. It's not just getting this passed, getting this, slamming this through. You get this through, but you have a lot of, scars after it. That stuff could add up, right? And so I think that's a factor as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, OBM. Anyone else got any more insight? B Money, what are your thoughts, man? B, you there? Hello. All right, let's go to Eric Jackson.
No, I think OBM and Slow-Mo both kind of, drove it home. Like, this is definitely, it's like I kind of said earlier, Microsoft has kind of cultivated, over the years, I don't think directly like through just means, but just in their efforts of trying to, regain footing after kind of how the Xbox One generation went for them. Just making, what is perceived as consumer friendly moves. And it kind of just garnered this sort of like legend of them being like the consumer friendly, the nice guys and this and this and that. And, you can't I won't say you can't buy that, but that's just something that sort of kind of gets fostered. I don't think they want to lose that perception. And then when you have like your competitor the week prior, buying, something like a Bungie and then saying immediately that it's going to stay like status quo and it's going to be multi-platform, that does kind of put them on a back foot because they've been a little bit cagey when it comes to, their plans and what they want to do. They're kind of trying to keep things close to the vest, but at the same time trying to be nice. It's like, or sound or presented in a certain way. And that goes back to what OBM said. It's like, at the end of the day, they're still a corporation. So they have to kind of play in both worlds. It's like they want to make shrewd business moves, but they also don't want to be perceived as being like bad guys per se. Right. So, yeah, so it's kind of interesting that today they kind of shored that up. And I think a lot of it was what Slow-Mo said too, is they probably heard from, you're not, when you're a big company like a Microsoft, you have ears, you have people, like he said in Game of Thrones, little birds telling you things, right? So they're probably hearing certain things from, the Hill about how this could potentially go or how it could be perceived. And I think we said this before when the acquisition first happened, is they're going to have to be careful how they walk with this because, and I think Tim Dog actually was talking about this, because when you're dealing with a Call of Duty, that's not like picking up a Ninja Theory, or something like that, or titles from Ninja Theory or a developer like that. That's Call of Duty. So you can't just move that rock without somebody noticing it move, because even like beyond the casual gamer, people know Call of Duty. My mother knows what Call of Duty is. She is nowhere near gaming. When that hits the news that Microsoft purchased Activision Blizzard, that's something that carries over in the news cycle bigger than even Bethesda, bigger than anything else, because that carries, again, Call of Duty. And why does Call of Duty have so many people that know about it? Is because it's always talked about as making so much money. So it's impressive. So, and then when you have it on different platforms, you have to be careful about how you move that, because now you have a target. And I know the boogeyman word gets thrown around like monopoly or whatever. So no, they're not necessarily near a monopoly, but they are putting sort of like targets when you move a Bethesda. Not a Bethesda, but you first move Bethesda, and then you move like an Activision, and you move a Call of Duty. Now you are putting a bit of a target on your back. Now you have people who weren't really paying attention kind of looking like, because there's a lot of money involved in that. And the more money you spend, the more things that you do, the more of that target grows. So they have to be careful how they make these moves. And this kind of move could kind of make them whole for a little bit on the next thing that they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, like, they certainly, this thing, $70 billion. And I think if I'm not mistaken, it's Microsoft as a company, their biggest acquisition to date, right?
By far. Yeah. LinkedIn was the next. Mm-hmm. I think they would, and it's it's a lot bigger than that. And also something else. I wasn't here last week, Enrique, when you guys were talking about the Bungie thing, but you remember like Jim Ryan was talking about, he bought Bungie for Beyond consoles. And the thing you have to think about too, this is going to be subscription and streaming exclusive to Microsoft forever, right? So like that's what they're building towards as well, and that's the other thing they kind of keep track of. And I think Hogue keeps mentioning that's the one that's going to probably, he thinks more than the whole Sony thing, that is the one, that is the one aspect that from a regulatory thing that could still be something that could stall them or create some objection over it. Is that real? That's really the next, one of the next paradigms is kind of moving beyond the console. And so like when people said, Sony got nothing out of Bungie last week, I think that was wrong. I think they got a lot. They've ensured themselves to have a massive, gas platform game that people still buy, major content for, on a yearly or bi-yearly basis. They guaranteed that they could put that in a subscription if they want to, right? And that could be there every year if they decide to do that. I think it's the same thing for Call of Duty or any of these things. And that is, I think, where the next kind of war is going to be fought. Like people still, it's weird to kind of see, especially these fights amongst the, gamers that claim they spend tons and tons of money on gaming. Obviously it's not, it like, so you probably, a lot of these gamers have multiple consoles. It's kind of weird, just kind of fighting about that value just based off of, these, what's exclusive to plastic. I really do think that they're already starting to pivot, not just Microsoft, but Sony as well, to the more of the subscription / platform wars. Like, what are we going to look like when we're no longer just a console, when we're an app on your TV, when we're an app on your PC, that kind of thing. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Sony eventually have a PC storefront, and like this is so in a way these are still kind of exclusive. They're just not, what they're not doing is they're not pulling something major. They're not being super disruptive to that old model, right? So I think they're kind of having their cake and eating it too, to be honest, by doing this. And it's, like I said, a good business move.
Yeah, no, I mean, great points. Forte, B Money, do you guys have any thoughts on, additional thoughts on, COD staying multi-plat, and then presumably some of the other popular Activision franchises? Activision Blizzard franchises, I should say.
I mean, you guys pretty much said it all. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of one of those things that they kind of have to do if they, don't want to be under any scrutiny for this deal. So, and it kind of just makes sense overall, money-wise. You know what I mean? You can still offer those games and a subscription on your platform. Still make additional revenue on other platforms. So, and like you said, I think what Sony did, make an announcement, kind of put them on their back foot, and it kind of put a little stain on that good guy image. You know what I mean? Because when it came out, out of the gate and kind of said, hey, we're not disrupting the player base. This games and future games are going to be on every console and other platforms, and Microsoft kind of had to reevaluate some of the statements they made, and now they made this statement, so kind of made clarified everything, and just looks better overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think with that move that Sony made, they immediately took a narrative piece off the board.
Yep.
Because what people kept screaming is if Sony was doing it, it would automatically like exclusive, and it's like, well, can't really say that now because they pivoted on that one, So yeah, it's like putting the ball back in Microsoft's court.
Exactly.
It's kind of wild when you think about it.
Yeah, the statement interesting. I mean, he responded about the whole Activision purchase, and they were like, "Oh well, I expect Microsoft to continue putting Activision games on our platform." Even after, our existing contractual obligation. So, a week later, 2 weeks later, Microsoft, has to come out to make this statement. So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I think, like I said, when I've been saying this more recently, like it didn't make sense for them to pull the rug from under so many people. And like you and I have talked a lot about OBM, but maybe potentially damage the IP, right?
Yeah.
In these communities, look, these games thrive on player engagement. Like, it's one thing about Call of Duty multiplayer. These games thrive on these communities, and I would venture to say that, because I know some people are like, oh, now when there's acquisitions being made, they're not going to be exclusives. I don't think that's the case. I think that if there's an acquisition of another publisher and they have a game that's successful and has a thriving community on both platforms because of a multiplayer component in that game, I don't see those games being pulled from other platforms. Now, I think the other stuff, the more single player focused stuff, is probably more fair game, where you see those games being exclusive. But I think this is probably going to be more the norm moving forward. As Sony's done with Destiny now. Destiny and all future Bungie releases are going to be multi-plat as well. I think that's going to be the case for maybe other acquisitions though down the road, where there's that community and there's that multiplayer aspect. And I think it was maybe B who said it. Microsoft, this is still a tremendous. If people are looking for victories, if you will, which is crazy to say, there's a lot of positive here for Microsoft too, because again, like you said, OBM, streaming COD is going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform. You're going to get the game now in Game Pass, and there's certainly a value proposition for Microsoft now to say, hey, you can either pay $70 for COD, or you can sign up for Game Pass, and you're going to get COD plus 200 plus games. And some of those games are going to be our first party exclusives. They're going to be some of the other Activision games you might be interested, or Blizzard games you might be interested in, or games from Bethesda, or some of the new stuff we have coming out. So there's still tremendous value proposition there, where they could maybe swing some people from maybe the PlayStation platform over to Microsoft. And I agree with you.
When you think about like the other publishers, I would really only consider like maybe 2 other publishers that would have like games that really wouldn't be able to be exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, you would think of like the EAs and the Ubisoft, things like that. But if you kind of narrow down to the other publishers like Sega or like Capcom, smaller publishers like that, I don't think all these platform hoarders would have that same issue.
Mm-hmm. Like, you feel like they could take those properties and make them exclusive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because like those publishers don't have like a bunch of games that have reoccurring revenue, where there's a lot huge player base, things like that. Like, if you look at like just Capcom's financial report, like a lot of those games, like their games sell 5 million, 8 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, they're not even double digit millions on over 200 million console install base. So when it comes to like publishers like that, I think you could probably still make that purchase, bring that into some exclusive content, and not be under such scrutiny as far as taking that content away from another platform.
Yeah. And B, I think a good example of that too, honestly, is like a lot of stuff under the Bethesda umbrella.
Right.
Outside of like the Fallouts and like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls. Look at everything else, like this Bethesda Softworks titles. All of those could go exclusive, and I don't think anybody would blink, because those games never did numbers on any particular platform. Look how most of them got ignored until they hit like a Game Pass. Then all of a sudden it was like they were fired, and I'm like, these games have been fired.
Right.
But it's the same thing. It's like when you talk about the numbers that a lot of those did, no one's going to really think twice. But, when you think about taking the thing that is big on the platform, that's when people start to get like itchy.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? Like, Yeah. So that's a good point, man.
You try to take a Grand Theft Auto and make that exclusive, that ain't happening. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You want to talk about a target on your back? Because I know people keep saying, well, what if Microsoft or Sony buys 2K and they make Grand Theft Auto? they're gonna have a problem on their hands. You know?
FTC gonna be at the door the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the thing that people don't think about either with like all this acquisition, you know, the gaming industry in itself has done a pretty good job of keeping government influence out of the gaming industry.
Yeah.
But the more you keep doing it, the more you keep disrupting, and everyone's like, it's inevitable, and this is great for console wars. But it's like the more you keep doing that, the more you keep opening doors to let them nose their way into things. Because now you're crossing into their territory. And that's all they need is a foot where you can't close the door again.
Yep. Once they get that foot.
So be careful what you keep asking for and what you keep wishing for, because, you know, on Thursday you want to own Derek online, who means nothing to you. You know?
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I really do look forward to, like, I'm really hoping this is a way to actually enhance the community rather than break it down. Like, I think over time, I think they eventually are going to get away from this console war thing. Now, obviously, people are still going to have brand loyalties and, you know, argue about that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, but all this could do is enhance that rather than, you know, and Enrique, yeah, we didn't touch too much on that, but just like thinking about like when you have a game that's a social platform, you know, you start disrupting your community. Number one, think about the fact that, you know, year after year, people just buy out of habit because their friends are going to be there. I know I've bought Call of Duties just because my friends are like, well, that's the game I play. And I'm like, all right, I'll get off of Halo and join you for like an hour just so we can bullshit. And, you know, I can mindless
get new friends, man.
you know, our buddy Canes, that's all he plays. It's called, I mean, for multiplayer, not for other things. Enrique's buddy from the Xbox Live early days. But, you know, like, you know, we have, you know, that's what people have been doing for over a decade. You know, them and their buddies, every year this releases, they go out, they get it, they jump online. It's just kind of a way of life thing. Now, you pull that away from them, what are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, your whole group of friends has got to come over here. Like, are they going to do that? Is some people going to stay behind? You're going to split up the community. You start thinking about other aspects of the game, such as, you know, you think about the value of the IP, even the value for it in Game Pass. Like, if you can do what they did for Minecraft and actually increase the perceived value of Call of Duty, that only enhances their ability to sell Game Pass when they're advertising this $70 game that's as good as it's ever been, as popular as it's ever been. You can get it over here with Game Pass. They're going to start throwing that soccer moms, like you were mentioning there, E. Like the soccer mom's going to finally know because she knows what Call of Duty is. She's going to start to know what Game Pass is.
Why is it got to be a soccer mom?
You know, I mean,
why can't it be a soccer dad?
It could be a soccer dad. It could be, you know, it could just be, you know, Mr. Joe Schmo, the casual gamer. He's going to be like, you know, what the hell is Game Pass after he hears it a bunch of times tied in the Call of Duty advertising.
Pass.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the gist of it is the thing is, if they would have pulled Call of Duty from PlayStation, I would even have argued there would have been some opportunity for Sony there, because you would probably create a vacuum with gamers who will not switch consoles because they've been here for 10 years or whatever. And so that would have given them an opportunity to maybe build up another IP, or maybe EA comes in and now Battlefield the next time it's the game, right? So there's all those types of risks as well. So again, Call of Duty is bigger than the Xbox console, in my opinion. And that's why that's why, you know, I told Enrique kind of like from day one, I was thinking about it. Well, day one, I was thinking, okay, maybe they're just going to leave Warzone. But when Phil came out with that next comment, I started rethinking it, and I was like, you know, like, this because it's so tied into the social aspect, they're not going to damage this. And this is, you go back and you started reading the comments from Nadella. He never talked once about this is going to help us sell more consoles. Not one time did he mention the Xbox consoles.
I care less about an Xbox console.
He forgot they even develop Xbox consoles.
Right.
Like he's talking about everything else. They are not going to risk like that IP, and I realize, Activision Blizzard King is more than just Call of Duty. King is probably the most, King is probably the most valuable company there. But but a huge, like tens of billions of dollars is tied into just this one IP. So you damage that IP, it's going to take you a lot of Xbox sales just to get that value of that IP back up. So yeah, and I know I've been saying a lot, but I just want to throw that other point in there as well.
No, it's good points, man. But I think people should start thinking too about what like all these acquisitions and studios can mean beyond what they already currently do, and if hopefully Microsoft is thinking this way too when it comes to content for the service, because there's still things that they can do within the realms of these IP that they own, where the traditional Call of Duty and everything else doesn't have to move, but you can do something with it, like. You could take like the best.
I'll damage him for a second, so I guess I need some.
What happened?
Nothing.
Does Forte think he's on mute again? I've seen this episode before.
But you could do something like for Game Pass specific, and you can say like we're gonna take the top like Call of Duty campaigns. Do like an enhanced edition just for Game Pass, like exclusive. Like, you can throw those kind of things in there and play with that. That doesn't have to go on PlayStation. I'm not saying that that's the kind of thing that'll light the world on fire, but if you're talking about, your base and people that are there, that's something that they can take to Twitter and run around with, kick the ball around and say, hey, we got, the Call of Duty campaign collection, stuff like that, or actually start creating new stuff. Talk to these teams about new ideas that they have. Like, don't just pigeonhole them to continuing to do the same things. That's where your growth also comes from as well. Like, but people can only see it in terms of, what can we take away from competition versus like what can be created to attract new players and people who don't really care about Call of Duty, but maybe they're like these teams have other ideas of things that they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead, OBM.
No, I just said well said. No, yeah, that's the other thing. Like we're so busy focusing on the fight over the exclusivity of a game that, and again, this is kind of my message to, even the community within, the Xbox, which, I'm part of is with Xbox era is like, like you are gaining so much from this as somebody who's subscribed to Game Pass. And even if you're not, if you're on that platform now, they can go hire, they can we know ABK was losing employees, right? They were struggling to get enough employees to meet some of their goals or deadlines, things like that. Now you kind of get out from under that toxicity, you make this better. You start to diversify the games they're going to make, and they've already talked about that. They're going to, they've already hinted at the fact that they'll pull out some of these IPs that have been dormant that were not big enough for, Activision Blizzard. So there's and those are going to go on Game Pass too, right? So, but even if you don't subscribe to the service, these are going to be games that would not have existed in that alternative universe. So I think just as a gamer, if we kind of just step back and look at it as just as gamers, not as, platform warriors or anything like that, or focused on just the business. As gamers, there's going to be a lot of win here. If they follow through and they execute and they can fix the culture and they can start hiring and they, restructure it correctly. I mean, there's a lot of work to do here, but that opportunity now exists where I think it didn't before.
Yeah, no, I mean, great points. Yep. I mean, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on a sec here. Yeah. So again, I mean, this is, like I said earlier, I'm not shocked this happened. And look, this is great for the gaming community too. I mean, it's the other thing. Like, I think people are so caught up in a war. I think, like you said, OBM, that really doesn't exist per se.
It exists in those people's mind.
Oh, it does. That's true. Yes, it does exist in their mind. So, Forte, do you have any closing thoughts on this, maybe, before we wrap up?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I know a lot of people wanted Microsoft to do something like keep it exclusive and stuff. I mean, for me, most of these people didn't even play the game or any of the games. I'm just happy to see that they're picked up by a publisher that's probably actually going to care about the IPs, care about the people, the studios and stuff, so we can get back to, the things that I care about the most, which are games. I'm really excited for what they could do with IPs like StarCraft and Diablo and stuff like that, because I'm a huge StarCraft player and haven't really had any reason to play it over the course of the last few years, just because it just seems like it's just been dormant because of all the stuff going on with Blizzard and stuff. So, I think this is a really, really good move for them. I also think it's just another way of acquiescing, probably trying to get this deal done as soon as possible because of the sanctions and stuff from FTC and stuff coming down. I think that's part of the reason why they don't care about Call of Duty per se being something that's multi-platform. If you have your foothold into probably the biggest part that nobody really talks about is the King side of it, they're looking at it like y'all talk about Call of Duty where King makes the bulk of the 3/4 of the money, the revenue that comes into ABK comes from King. So they are going to they're going to have a huge foothold in that market versus any other one. And I think they say we got to give up exclusive rights and stuff to Call of Duty to be on multiple platforms, to be able to start, building inside of that ecosystem. That's a more than well enough trade, because they're still going to make, the bulk of the money off of the Call of Duty IP due to the fact that they have exclusive ownership and stuff of it. So I think that is just a win-win for them. And this just gives Phil Spencer even closer to his and Satya Nadella's thoughts on getting to 2 to 3 billion gamers and stuff. Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, Call of Duty mobile is bigger than regular Call of Duty, and guess what? It makes millions, like not millions, dang near $750 million is made annually on that title and stuff. So this is a great move for them, because in general, people are still going to be playing games wherever they want to play them at. Game Pass is still going to be the number one way that they want you to play it on the Xbox platform. So why not let it be? Why not live on a PlayStation or on PC and stuff still? Because you want to let people make a decision. Like, hey, do you want to pay $70 for this title on another platform? Maybe it would entice you to go out and get an Xbox, because Xbox did lock up exclusivity around the Bethesda titles and stuff, and they already came out and talked about that. So if you're a Call of Duty player and play any of those Bethesda games, then you're going to probably come to Xbox anyway, So Call of Duty is just a way to bolster their game lineup when it comes to their offerings in Game Pass at the end of the year. It's another, I don't really see people talking about it, but that's a huge title for them in the fourth quarter. And that's one of few games that people buy every year. So that's going to sway the decision of a lot of people too. But if they decide to play on PlayStation, guess what? Microsoft still gets a pie of it, and doesn't matter to me, because as long I have everything to play it. And I think that's the thing people need to start truly thinking about when it comes to these acquisitions in the future, because I don't think exclusivity is going anywhere. I do think it's going to be more common than people think it's going to be outside of what we've been getting over the last couple of generations. I think we'll still see console exclusivities and stuff like that. But when it comes to just total full exclusivity, that's going out the window by the end of this generation, because PC is going to be the common denominator for everything to go there. So this is just another step closer to that.
Yeah, that's a great, I mean, seriously, great point, Forte. Yeah, I mean, look, again, I think it's great points across the board here. And,
you had a great point.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So did Slow-Mo.
Slow-Mo did have
and
some
B
great
Money.
Points. Even though Slow-Mo said he was wrong. Yeah, everyone did.
Not so much One Bad Mother.
Wow.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm just saying. I have one. He ain't came to come visit me.
One bad
point. I got it. Yeah.
He had one bad point.
Yeah, one bad point.
Yeah.
One bad point. That's pretty funny.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I think we do need to give
myself with the pun. Go ahead.
I think we do need to give Enrique shit though for his clickbait. It's like his clickbait headline, which had nothing to do with how our discussion went today.
That's
so anyway,
I don't even look at what the headlines are anymore because it's always clickbait.
It's like you're trying to track the worst Twitter, like you're like trying to bring in the worst of the worst.
Hey, let me tell you, you think I care?
It's like,
you think I care?
Like headlines be like Phil slaps the shit out of Jim and like what?
That's pretty funny.
It's like, and we're going, you idiots. It's like not, this is a good thing. And then I'm looking at that title. I'm like, wait a second. It's like, anyway,
all caps. Enrique, do better, man.
At least he didn't have a picture of Jim Ryan crying or something like that. So, or Phil Spencer crying.
Yeah, those thumbnails, yeah.
Or it's like you see the one like it's like Phil with the Pinocchio nose, or Jim Ryan on like a Pinocchio body or something.
Pinocchio body.
What that? Y'all taking too much time out of life to do this crazy shit.
I know, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah. Fortunately, his Photoshop skills haven't evolved to that yet. Because I think you probably just
okay. I do have standards, by the way.
No,
yeah, I'm not going to do like Pinocchio nose or like.
I'm looking at your title. It's like Xbox loses major exclusive. new Nintendo Direct.
They But can they lose an exclusive that they don't own yet, though?
Right, yeah, I'm like, come on. Major exclusive.
I'm glad
they had it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm glad we can have this public intervention together. Thanks, guys. That made it work.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Oh man,
this wouldn't be. That's okay. He'll catch it on Crossfire too in 2 days.
What's that? What am I gonna get on Crossfire? What happened?
I said you'll get this all over again on Crossfire in 2 days.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be another conversation about this, and sort of some people are gonna have, I'm sure people are gonna be like, why Microsoft do this? They spend $70 billion. I can't believe that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense. This acquisition isn't just about COD, as OBM said. It's actually there's other parts of this acquisition that are bigger than COD.
Listen, man, I respect some people hustle out here, man. Shout out to the Twitter community for being absolutely mad about this when they really weren't. They just wanted clicks on their tweets and stuff.
They were artificially drive engagement.
Oh yeah. It was funny when I saw it. I was like, oh, interesting.
If clout chasing was the game, if you got like gamer score or trophies for clout chasing, my God.
Every day.
How it is, though,
I mean, they have all the platinums, man.
It's all about that. It's all about that engagement.
Only in this community can you gain like a big following, not posting a game that you're playing, talking about a game that you're playing, talking about a game you're anticipating, actually interacting with people on the consoles that you say you play so much on, but just being out there saying whatever, you can gain a huge following. It's wild.
Yep.
The people who talk about people who post gameplay about a game that they don't like is the funniest shit. like why are you so concerned? Obviously you don't want to play the game, you don't like the game,
right?
But why you got to comment on somebody else, how they spent their money, if they enjoying the game or not?
Guys keep jumping out there to say how bad Sifu looks, but they can't stop. Like Sifu, I'm like, man, I didn't know Sifu had people mad.
Man, it's got 5 levels. It's only got 5 levels.
It's only 40 minutes long.
I'm like, can you beat it in 40 minutes?
I ain't even playing it.
It's like, can you even make it out of the first level in 40 minutes? Is the question.
Minutes. You just questioning people's gaming skills, Slow-Mo, now?
Hey, you know what's funny? Hey, Slow-Mo,
you talking like that. Look, I'm gonna keep it buck. The ones that been talking that kind of energy be the worst gamers. They'll never show anything.
Slow-mo.
They will never play anything. Go ahead. My bad.
You know what's funny? You say that worst gamers.
No, naturally, it's not my bad. I mean every word I said.
But you know what's funny though? You say worst gamers. How do I have a higher KDR?
Right. Yeah. Always talking. KD and a freaking negative. Like you it's just like a gazillion matches and your KD's like 0.6 7'9". Like, shut up! Don't talk to me. I'm sorry. I know that sounds mean, but just it is what it is, bro. Like, I think
it's funny, man. I think it's funny. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. I see OBM mixing it up a little bit there. OBM.
Oh, I told you I had to fight at least one fanboy today. I had a rough day at work.
Yeah, the fanboys are here for entertainment. They're kind of like the court judge. They're kind of like the court jesters.
You put out the meat in your titles. Like I said, at least you don't have the meme. At least you don't have the meme game down.
Oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna borrow Alex's thumbnails now and just throw that on here for this one.
The salt.
Yeah, this one.
So in between that Xbox title and Nintendo, you're supposed to work like Sony looks like clowns because MLB The Show is in Game Pass. Like, yeah, you're supposed to work.
Xbox clown Sony again.
that whole thing is hilarious too. I'm like, okay, yeah. So MLB The Show is in Game Pass. That's funny on the surface of it, but I don't think Sony's that mad about it because it's like, all right, go ahead, laugh it up, pay some money.
They weren't that mad when they got them extra sales.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, oh, and clean
best selling the show there was, right?
Right, exactly. It's like Sony's like, all right, yeah, we can roll with the joke.
Yeah. I was upset a little bit.
All the way to the bank.
and then I saw my bank account. Right. I was like, no, I'm not upset no more. Let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Now I'm just mildly annoyed. I got upgraded.
Oh my God!
I was mad, and then I went and bought a new Bentley. Now I don't feel so mad.
Let me get this last super chat.
I drove around in my new Bentley.
Let me get this last super chat from Game Over Brian. $5 super chat. It says, shout out to my favorite Pody, Slow Mo. Thank you for that.
Oh, word. What's up, Game Over Brian? What's up, man? Like click clack. Click clack, baby.
He said click clack, baby. Hey, so you gotta get a gold chain that says click clack on it.
When I walk down the street, they know I'm coming. They hear that click clack.
Yeah.
Click clack.
Oh my God. All right. So great show, gentlemen. Big shout out to everyone in the live chat again. Please hit that like button. We have like 100-some people watching. We only have 48 likes. Hit the like button. And if you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're alerted when we go live. Probably gonna do a BRAP rant this weekend with Game Logic, trying to get OBM on. I don't think he's gonna make it, but yeah, Game Logic and I are gonna talk a little bit more about cost of development, things like that, and I forget what else we're gonna talk about. But anyhow, just give. If you're not following me on Twitter, BRAP_podcast, I'll be posting the information when we go live this weekend. Probably Saturday, but could be Sunday too. It just depends. Actually, not Sunday because Sunday's a Super Bowl, so probably Saturday.
Super Bowl. Oh, speaking of which, Super Bowl.
Predictions. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna
predictions.
Win? Yeah, OBM, you go first. OBM. Don't say Detroit Lions.
Say the right thing, OBM.
I mean, it's probably the Rams. I mean that's Lions karma.
Yes. There you go. That's the only reason.
I've grown up a Lions fan, but I'm also probably one of the biggest Lions haters. It's a weird relationship I have with my my team here. I think Forte understands, but you probably were smart enough to abandon the.
I abandoned over 30 years ago.
Yeah, so smart. I wish I would have done the same thing. We won one playoff game in our entire existence, and that was
wasted the career of 3 amazing players.
Yep. So
2 of your best players ever decided to retire, then ever put that uniform again.
Yep.
Just think about that.
In their prime, too.
In their prime.
Barry Sanders was about
done.
Barry Sanders
won't do it again.
Yeah, Barry Sanders was 1 year away from breaking the all-time rushing record. It was like, nope, I don't even want
to do this for you guys. Like, I don't want you to see. You want to hear a story? Like I actually, my best friend growing up actually played in the NFL for like a few years as an offensive lineman. He had the same agent as Barry Sanders, and he told me like before Barry Sanders ever announced it, he said, Barry Sanders is going to leave football. Because he heard it from his agent. I says, well, you think he's just going to ask for a trade to try to get out of there? He says, no, he's lost his love for it. The Lions ruined him.
Man, remember?
God.
The year he was supposed to break. Well, the year before he was supposed to break the rushing record. Remember downtown on the Cadillac Building, they had the giant Barry Sanders poster on the side. It had all of his rushing yards, and they were like celebrating the fact that he was about to be the all-time rushing record leader. And then he upped and retired. He retired. They said one more year, and they had like all his stats on the board. And saying 2020, it was like I think it was 1999, and it said question mark. And then he retired, and then just going downtown watching them pull that vinyl off the side of that building was like the worst thing in the world, bro.
Oh man,
it's so terrible.
Like, I don't even want my record being associated with your trash organization.
Terrible.
Terrible. Hey, for real, that's like Ricky Williams. Everyone's like, man, he'd rather quit and go smoke weed and play football. No, Ricky don't want to carry the ball 80 damn times a game. Ricky,
they were killing that man in New Orleans.
Got dead in the morning.
Right.
They were trying to kill that dude.
Yeah,
like legit, Ricky carried the ball 60 to 70 times a game.
In New Orleans, right?
No, in Miami.
No, in Miami.
He
was killing himself in Miami. You right?
The New Orleans traded their entire draft to draft him.
To draft him. And he only
gave him like so much anxiety and depression because like the entire franchise is on this man's back. I felt so bad for that guy, man.
NFL just stole Ricky Williams from us, man.
Such a great.
Let's not talk about Dan Snyder for Slow-Mo.
Well, listen. So
I got no like sympathy for any other fan. So
nope, none. See, listen. I
at least you still have your name. We're the Commanders now. I don't know what we commanding, but L
commanding a losing record, commanding L's. Hey, Slow-Mo, you see the alternative outfit they have, the alternative jersey where it's all black and has a W on the helmet. The front of the helmet. Someone photoshopped to put an L.
Man, how
they stole
the hashtag too.
They stole the hashtag from an AFL team. They stole everything from that's how trash this organization is. They couldn't come up with anything original. They stole the name, the hashtag, and everything from an AFL team. The W, we already had a W off the Washington football team thing. Why'd you even change it? It's just you couldn't come up with anything different than
Listen, they can't escape it, man. As soon as they posted the jerseys, they posted the new name of the jerseys. People literally went back into November last year when they lost to the Chargers and posted that video they posted about how they take L's.
They could have called themselves the Washington Cheddar Biscuits, and that would have been a better name than Commander.
It's terrible.
I would have been fine with just football team. The Commanders, just football
Washington
team.
Commanders, Commander in Chief.
That actually grew on me, Slow-Mo.
It did too. Washington football team.
Yeah, I was cool.
It was unique.
Yeah,
it was unique. Yeah, down to the Commanders.
Like a little league team.
It sound like a Dorito, like a Pop Warner team.
They sound like the team in the movies that the protagonists play against. Like the football movies that they play against the other nondescript team.
Oh, you talking about like how the Washington?
You talking like Any Given Sunday, the Sharks?
Yes, yeah, the Sharks or the Commanders. What is this? Like who? I can't believe they came up with that. Man.
It's so cool. Yeah, I guess for me, I'm with one bad. I'm rooting for a Rams landslide because I actually respect Stafford more than anything because I just want to see all of these Detroit hating fans out here that said it's Stafford's fault. Just trust me, Stafford had his issues. Stafford wasn't like He wasn't clean of any other stuff. He's not clean of all the stuff that happened here, but he ain't as bad as people said he was. And I just want the Detroit Lions to just suffer for an entire offseason to know that this man that y'all he literally walked away from y'all, said, I don't want to be here no more, and went somewhere else and made it to the Super Bowl and won it in his first year. I just want that to happen. Truly happen, and I'm rooting for Stafford like crazy. And plus, the funny thing is, OBJ is the biggest star in this game, and he's not a quarterback. It's freaking ridiculous, but it's gonna be a great game.
Let's go to the other predictions. Slow-mo, who are you predicting, man?
The Rams. The Rams will win. I think Burrow's great, right? And he's got a bright future. Hopefully, he's not the next Dan Marino who makes it to the Super Bowl in his second year and then never goes back, right? But
he does play for the Bengals.
I think the moment might be. I think the moment might be too big for him. It's the Super Bowl.
I definitely don't think that's the case.
No, look.
No, there's nothing big. I don't think anything's too big for Joe Burrow.
Bro, he's never been to the Super Bowl.
He has never been in a lot of things. Did you see that man playing in all these big games he played in going back to college?
Like another game, bro.
No, that's another game for Joe Burrow out there, man. I ain't got no problems with listen, Joe Burrow is not going to be the reason that the fucking Cincinnati Bengals lose this game. He going to go out there and probably throw for about 300, 350, but he gonna probably get sacked like 15 times because his offensive line sucks.
Let's wrap up the sports talk. Let's get some predictions. I gotta go.
You're terrible.
Burrow's gonna throw a couple of picks and they're gonna lose.
All right.
So it's gonna be the
Rams. So we got Rams. So we got 3 Rams. E, what do you think, man?
Who has the black coach?
Neither.
Wow.
Well, damn.
That doesn't exist in the NFL, apparently.
I'm gonna go Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. Cincinnati. All right. So we got
Thanks for
Cincinnati.
breaking this up because I was gonna have to flip if nobody did.
Hey B, what about you, man? Who do you got, B?
I'm gonna go with the Nasty Natty, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Jamar Chase and them boys, T. Higgins. You know what I mean? They got a
Jamar
squad.
Chase.
The thing is,
got some targets.
Yeah, the thing.
Joe
is
Mixon.
that Matt Stafford always folds, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever the pressure is like too much, like he does something stupid. And
that's true.
I've taken Matt Stafford as a fantasy quarterback in fantasy for many years. I took him this year. Like he cost me a lot of money.
He cost you the games that mattered, huh?
Yeah. He cost me a lot of money.
You saying he's Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, he's something like that.
So,
I mean,
Cousins puts up great numbers, but Cousins don't. Not in big games. He wilts in big games.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be high scoring, but I'm gonna go with Cincinnati, man. I think Jamar that connection with Jamar Chase is
real.
Something special. You know what I mean? You just can't. You don't see that too much now in the league. You know what I mean?
Right.
One that Cooper Kupp and that Matt Stafford have is great too, but Jamar Chase's dude is unbelievable. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals, man.
I didn't even know they had a stat called the triple
go.
crown.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Rams. I just feel like they got the squad for it this year. They built this team to win both sides of the ball. I think they're gonna win. I think it's gonna be close, but I think they're gonna win. I think they'll pull it out. So.
I also want another former Washington assistant who becomes head coach to win the championship, just so that like people can see how trash the Washington organization is. Allowing these coaches to go elsewhere and be successes elsewhere, but not for us.
Then wasn't it? Who was the head coach when they were there?
When we had that guy, he was our quarterbacks coach when Mike Shanahan was here.
That's right, Mike Shanahan.
Okay. Yeah, we had we had Kyle Shanahan as the OC, who's now the head coach of the Niners, who was in the championship game.
Matt LaFleur is now the coach of the Packers. He was a QB coach. And actually, and then what the coach for the head coach for the Rams was Sean McVay was
the quarterback coach,
offensive coordinator. Yeah, so I mean,
Yep. He was initially tight ends coach, and then he coached Kirk Cousins, quarterback coach for Kirk Cousins, and he left and became a head coach immediately. Not even OC, just
and he's like
coach.
35. He's like 35 right now, still, or 36 or something. He's still young.
The fact that they didn't see this guy's talent.
Oh, they did. They did. We just got
just
fucking Danny Boy. We got Danny Boy as an owner.
Shanahan was still there, though.
We got Danny Boy's more concerned about groping women.
No, Shanahan was gone. They fired Shanahan.
Oh,
they brought in Jay Gruden. That's what I'm saying. Like,
matter of fact, they brought in Jay Gruden, and Jay Gruden kept him and made him their OC. What they should have did was just promote him to head coach, and kept Jay Gruden in Cincinnati.
That's right. I forgot about Jay Gruden.
Bums. The Washington Bums. That's what it should have called the team. All right. On that note, we're out. Everyone enjoy the weekend. Again, may do a BRAP rant this Saturday. Keep you posted on Twitter. Thank you everyone for stopping by, hanging out with us. We're out. Peace.
Enjoy your first Super Bowl without Tom Brady for the next 7 years.
Oh, we will. Oh, we will.
He's the GOAT of all sports.
Enjoy it.